Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are coming to you live today from Lansing. This is your MHSAA kickoff here on LansingTV12.com. We welcome one and all wherever you're at. We've got about 3 minutes here on the clock. We're going to kick it down to Colton and Tom in just a matter of minutes. We're running our checks, and we welcome one and all.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Lansing, Michigan. It's football season, y'all. We made it. Sexton and Everett coming your way next on Lansing TV 12. I'm Colton Wesley here with Tom Lewandowski. A couple of playoff teams from a season ago looking to make a splash. They had a great season last year. Both these teams did a good matchup last year as well. Sexton won 23-20 back in week 1. Tom, if you're a playoff team and you're looking to run it back the next year, what do you need to do on week 1 to establish what you're going to do that season?
Well, this game is one of the most important for both these teams on both these schedules since they were both playoff teams last year. And this is one of the biggest rivalries that both these teams will play this season. You know, this game, you got to work through your week 1 jitters, but after that, you go into it, and if you can get week 1 on a win, go off to a season with a great stride. And if you remember last year, Sexton going 8-2, they did lose that week 2 matchup, but they beat these guys first. Sexton beat Everett first week 1 last year. They had a loss in week 2, but they went on to win 7 straight and make the playoffs.
Only 2 losses on the season for Sexton last year, both to Portland. And you know they got that Portland game circled in red on the calendar when it comes time to it in October. Last year was a great year for football in the state of Michigan. University of Michigan won the college football playoff. The Detroit Lions reaching the conference championship for the first time in 30 years. In the local scene, Mason made it to a state championship game. Hazlitt won a district title. These two teams both snapped long playoff droughts. We got the first kickoff of the night here on this final Thursday in August, and it's our privilege to bring you the opening kickoff of football in mid-Michigan. Spartans and Lions will have their day, but tonight it's all about the J-Dubs and the Vikings live from Lansing, Michigan. J-Dubs will kick off to get this one underway. Wearing all white with black helmets, Everett will return. Wearing all blue with white helmets, Logic Loyola back deep to return. Beta Malakoyo has the ball on the tee. J-Dubs kicking left to right across your screen. The ball's in the air. We're underway. It's football season. Loyola returns from his own 13, up the middle over the 25, and hit and dropped at the 32-yard line. Tackle made by Tavion Smith. And the Vikings will start at their own 32. Quarterback, Najai Davidson, 1,300 passing yards, almost 500 rushing yards a season ago, 22 total touchdowns. He is the engine to this offense.
Yeah, he really is. And, you know, when you can return a player like that to this team, you should expect them to take a stride even farther than what they achieved last year, making the playoffs. You know, this year they're probably hoping to win at least that first-round game and maybe push for a district chip.
They're going to put the ball on the 35-yard line to start. Davidson in the backfield with Loyola to his left in the shotgun. Referee's getting everything set. Sexton, 3 down linemen. Davidson sends a man in motion, takes the snap. Handoff, Loyola breaks a tackle up to the 36-yard line, gains just a yard on the play.
That was great work from the J-Dubs defense right there. The big guys getting a lot of penetration, eating that run up really early on, forcing contact at or right behind the line of scrimmage, and then easy there for the second level to come clean up that running back.
Receivers Javari Funchess, Karan Turnley, and Nathaniel T.J. Benson, as well as, of course, Mason Chadwell, Saginaw Valley State commit, 25 catches, 4 touchdowns a season ago. In the gun once more. J-Dubs showing blitz. Here they come. Handoff, Loyola. He's slowed down in the backfield and swarmed. Dropped Damian T. Brown with the tackle for loss back at the 33-yard line.
That's a heck of a job from the Mike backer in this 3-4 system that they're running. You could see that he stepped up onto the line. I think he was over the guard. That guard could not get to him. Easily ran around him, and no one touched him until he got to the ball carrier in the backfield. Easy play there.
3rd down and long. Big opportunity for the J-Dubs to get off the field early. 10:30 to go, first quarter. First drive of the game. 3 receiver set for Davidson. Chadwell, receiver on the near side. He's matched up with Jeff Hudson, and now he's in motion. The snap, rushing 5. Time. Davidson throws down the middle, caught by Chadwell, first down. Midfield down to the 47-yard line. Tackle made by Hudson. Chadwell wins round 1 for a first down.
Easy route run for Chadwell. It was out of that, acted like a tight trips formation on the side, and because of that, brought that corner that was supposed to cover the deep third inside, gave Chadwell an opening over top, got behind the defense, and was the only one there for 5 yards. Easy catch for him.
23-yard gain out of the shotgun once again. They've got Funchess lined in as a tight end. Chadwell in motion now, tight to the near side. Davidson the snap. Quarterback power, left side, got some room up over the 40, knocked down at the 38-yard line, gain of 7 for Davidson. That'll bring up 2nd down and 3. Really nice drive here for the Vikings now after a slow start on the first couple of plays, and the first flag of the night comes out. These two teams don't like each other. Now there's more laundry on the field.
I think that's going to be on Chadwell. I didn't see what he did, but it was his teammates were pulling him out of that fight. He was the first one to be pushed away for, well, not fight, but whatever discretion.
Scuffle.
It was definitely not a fight, but
well, these two teams, they have a long history, right? They don't particularly like each other. They played each other close last year. They both have big dreams this year. They see each other as obstacles on the path to glory. This is a very important Week 1 matchup, probably one of the most important in the Lansing area. It makes sense that they would come into this game with a lot of energy, but you got to maintain that. And you know that John L. Davis and Jaleel Canty telling their guys, hey, you got to keep it in check. So we got unsportsmanlike conduct on Everett as well as on Sexton. So the 2 flags will offset. And someone's been ejected.
I believe that would be the Sexton player for that, since it was called out after the Sexton penalty was said.
Yeah, someone's been ejected. The referees are not mic'd up, so we can't hear who has been ejected.
I mean, I guess we'll see whatever player leaves the stadium.
Now the Everett coaching staff, I believe that's Jaleel Canty out to talk to the officials. Yeah, no one's been ushered to the locker room that we can see. Maybe we'll get word from the PA as to who the objection will be assessed to.
Sexton did just sub out Tavarius George, one of their defensive backs, for, I do not see who came in. Maybe it was Josiah Stewart came in for him, so that might have something to do with it. If not, Josiah Stewart came in, which is a great addition to the secondary.
Oh.
Yeah, they might have just pulled him off for a play. I don't see any action on the sideline though.
Yeah, I haven't seen anybody go to the locker room yet over on the Sexton sideline. These officials going to be warning these guys, hey, nothing more like that. We're going to keep this under control. We know you don't like each other, but there's a lot of football to be played. We've only played 3 minutes and 5 seconds of it. We can't be having this game get derailed by all kinds of penalties and nonsense like that.
Especially if you're the Everett coaching. You had a big chunk play break off right there, turned into a kind of an ordeal here that really didn't need to be started.
So 2nd down and a short 3, ball across the 38-yard line. Line to gain is the 35. 3 receiver set for the Vikings. Chadwell by himself at the bottom of your screen. Josiah Stewart lined up across from him. And now he's up in press coverage. Only one safety over the top. You know that Davidson's going to be looking at that. J-Dubs show a blitzing linebacker. Davidson takes the snap. Here they come. Handoff up the middle. Not much there. No, he broke away. Excuse me. Loyola stays on his feet down to the 30-yard line. I thought he got wrapped up and dropped, but he stayed on his feet, picked up 8 yards and a first down.
I don't know if he exactly stayed up on his feet. I think he landed on a Sexton player. I believe that Sexton player was actually Damian T. Brown. He hit the gap really hard, chopped Loyola down at the ankles, but Loyola aimed or landed on his back and was able to stand up without downing the ball.
That's a heads-up play by Loyola, 6-foot junior. First down at the 30-yard line. 3 receivers set, 2 to the right for Davidson. Takes the snap. J-Dubs rushing 6. Deep ball, right side in the seam. It is caught in the end zone for a touchdown. First touchdown of the year. Loyola down the seam.
Heck of a play there for the Everett Vikings. I believe that's Eugene Allen who scored the ball.
Yes, you're right.
Receiver. Huge play for 4 verts there. Beat his man on the man blitz. An easy pass there to get that ball into his breadbasket for that easy completion and touchdown.
How about the J-Dubs? They brought 6, but the Vikings offensive line standing in there, giving Davidson enough time to find his man over the top in single coverage. Great ball over the top. 6-0 Vikings. 7:59 to go. First quarter. Loyola on for the extra point. Snap good. Spot down. Kick on the way. It is up. It is good. Drilled just inside the left upright. And just like that, the Vikings are up 7-0. We'll take a quick break and come right back. You're watching MHSAA football on Lansing TV 12.
I'm Robert Dowding, associate broker and owner of the Robert Dowding Group at Keller Williams Realty. Originally from Eaton Rapids, my family and I now call Mason our home. On your next real estate transaction, put our over 30 years of experience and market knowledge to work for you. Call myself or Danielle French at the Robert Dowding Group today. We are your Mason hometown realtors.
Everett Vikings, 65-yard touchdown drive to open things up here. 7:59 to go in the first quarter. They lead 7-0. Up here in the booth on the west side, here at Everett High School. Doing the best we can with the visuals here in the booth. But we appreciate you joining us, whether you're joining us here live on a Friday, or on a Thursday, I should say. Usually it'll be Fridays, but Thursday night varsity game tonight. But whether you're joining us here live or on the rebroadcast or on the archive, we are very grateful to have you here as we welcome football back to mid-Michigan. It has been a long, long summer. And students might not be excited about school, but I think everyone's excited about football.
I mean, who wouldn't be excited about football? It's the best sport there is. I'm a little biased, of course.
Loyola with the run-up and the kick. I went over the head of the returner, and it will roll into the end zone. And a touchback. Crucial difference, and we got an altercation. Tyler Thomas and Alejandro Garza getting into it, but no flags thrown. That ball rolling into the end zone over Tavion Smith's head. And worth noting, critical rule difference between here and the NFL. In the NFL, now, with the new kickoff rules, if the ball is in the end zone, it is not a dead ball. That ball is live if it's on the ground in the end zone. If it hits the ground in the end zone in high school, it's a dead ball and a touchback. If it hits the ground in the end zone in the NFL, even if it doesn't hit another player or anything else, if it just flies into the end zone, hits it, and stays in the end zone, it is a live ball that can be recovered. But in high school, that is not the case, which is why as soon as it hit the end zone, referees wave their arms in the air to signal the touchback. So it'll be first down at the 20 for this new-look Sexton offense with Abdul Freeman in at quarterback. J-Dub's getting a late sub on. Markel Richardson enters the fray. Richardson and Stewart in the formation. Pistol for Foreman. Strong to the right. Sends a man in motion. The snap. Give up the middle. Trying to bounce it outside. There's no room for the runner. And that ball came out. That ball came out. It's picked up by Everett. Coming the other way. All the way home. Logic Loyola. Touchdown. Unless the referees say he's down, in which case it looks like they are.
They are saying he's down. Either way, that's a heck of a job by Arumava Diu. That would be the lineman that got in there to maybe force the fumble while the refs talk about it, but he definitely got that stop several yards behind the line of scrimmage. That's a heck of a play.
It will be second down, ball on the 17-yard line. Loss of 3 on the play, and of course we don't do instant replay in high school, not really, unless you have a Ford Field to help you out. Flag has just been thrown late. There was some pushing and shoving in that pile. That's what I thought was going on until all of a sudden Loyola emerged with the ball.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. This game's been very physical already. Both these teams are really putting their heart out for this game. This is going to be a tough-fought game for both sides.
The game started 18 minutes ago, and we've had 4 minutes of clock run. Sideline warning issued to Everett.
Yeah, that's going to be expected. Jalil Canty's been really vocal trying to speak up for his players, and especially on that case where, he thought that could have been a touchdown. Of course he's going to have to speak up and try to advocate for himself and his team to, try to get that to go.
The flag is for illegal substitution, so that will move the ball to the 21-yard line. So the illegal substitution occurred after the first play. It did not occur before the first play. Flag came out for an illegal substitution after the play was over. So it's 5 yards assessed from the previous spot, which was the 16-yard line after that loss of 4. Diamore Andrews on the carry.
Are they saying it's first down?
It would be 2nd and 9, although the board says it's
they're
first
saying
down.
Everett recovered the ball. Everett's on offense now.
They never signaled a first down for Everett up in the booth, but now here they are, Everett with the football, 1st and 10 at the 21.
What?
3 receivers set for Davidson out of the gun. Takes the snap. The give, Loyola swarmed in the backfield, dropped for a loss of 3. That's the senior linebacker, Diamore Andrews, on the tackle. Want to go back to that turnover real quick. The way the referees were discussing it, one of them signaled that he was down by contact. So that was the call we were going with. No one ever signaled first down Everett.
No, yeah, you are correct. But the down by contact must have been on an Everett player recovering the fumble.
It must have been. That must have been the call.
Wow.
Again, they're not mic'd up, so we have to go only off of what they signal. So we're doing our best up here.
Yeah, we do have to remember this is first game jitters for everyone. This will be the first game for the referee crew and both teams out on the field.
Referee calling for a reset of the play clock. Still working on the ball getting spotted and substitutions. Like you said, first game jitters for everyone, even the administrative side of the game. Referees still getting back into the swing of things. One safety over the top, Davidson in the gun. Takes the snap, running right, got an option, pitches it out to his option. Loyola inside the 20, down to the 15-yard line, bumped out of bounds there. Gain of about 10 on the play. That'll bring up 3rd down and manageable.
That was a good job from the Sexton defense. Even though they didn't get the outcome they really wanted on that play, there were 10 hats flying towards the ball because the backside corner, of course, is manned up on Mason Chadwell, who he really has to focus on this whole time. But that was a great job for team, getting together and trying to get that ball out of bounds.
Davidson in the pistol, Loyola behind him. Tight end winged out on either side. Oh my goodness, got a lot of J-dubs to jump. It's offsides. About 4 different guys jumped. J-dubs protesting for false start, but they are not going to win that protest, and it's a free first down for the Vikings. They're going to move this ball down to the 10-yard line. So 1st and goal, Vikes. Ball on the 10-yard line. dream start for Everett, frankly. They drove down and scored, forced a turnover. Now they're trying to punch it in, go up 14 here in the first quarter. 6:26 to go. Same set out of the pistol, the give. Loyola bumps off of his tackle all the way out down to the 16-yard line, bumped off of his offensive lineman, strung out well by the J-Dubs. Tyler Thomas on the tackle.
Yeah, that was a great job from the J-Dubs defense right there. The defensive end / outside linebacker, whatever you want to call him in this defensive 3-down set that they are, he did a great job at getting vertical penetration, and that was the wing back that he shoved all the way into the running back right at near the mesh point. He pushed that guy 3 or 4 yards on that one play into the mesh point. That's a great job there.
Yeah, and when your tackle, who's supposed to be, kind of leading the way on that kind of running play off tackle, he's supposed to be getting some penetration, getting into the second level. When he's 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage, you don't have anywhere to go if you're Logic Loyola. 3 receiver set. Davidson in the gun. Takes the snap. Under heavy pressure immediately. Quick little screen out to the left. Chadwell cuts inside the 10, down to the 5. Wrapped up and dropped there. It'll bring up 3rd and goal. Chadwell on the reception, gain of 10 on the play. Tried to set up a little bubble screen. They're in single coverage with one safety over the top. It's kind of their base set. So if you can get the ball to him quickly, let that slot receiver come out and set the block, he's just got one guy to beat before he's in the end zone. Good tackle out there to prevent the score, but it's 3rd down and goal from the 5-yard line.
Well, that was just I think that was more impressive for Davidson there on that play. 3 of the offensive linemen pulled to the right side of the formation. They had an actual screen on the right side of the formation that was covered and eaten up. So we dumped it off to the receiver who Chadwell did all of his best to get 10 yards out there. That's a great play from Davidson to see that.
2 receivers for Davidson. Takes a snap, cuts it back the other way. There's no room for him. He's dropped back at the 8-yard line. No room anywhere for Davidson to run. Tried to lead to his left. Another quarterback power that they used pretty effectively before. And it looks like, are they going to leave the offense out there? They're in Loyola's range. So it'd only be about a 25-yard kick from the left hash, but they're leaving the offense on the field for this 4th and goal. Huge chance for the J-Dubs to make up for the turnover and get the stop. 4 receiver set. Karan Turnley and Javari Funchess are the slot receivers on the right side of the formation. Benson and Chadwell on the outside. Loyola next to Davidson in the gun. Takes the snap. Davidson looks towards Chadwell. Looking. Still throws it out there. It's almost picked off. Incomplete. He was staring down Chadwell the whole time, and Josiah Stewart stepped in and got a crucial pass breakup. Incomplete. 4th down stand. And that's where I think on the sideline, Jaleel Canty is going to talk to his quarterback and say, hey, you got a few other guys you can throw the ball to. You can't stare down your guy. Even though it's the guy you want to throw to, it's a matchup maybe that you like. Can't stare him down like that. Sometimes he's not going to be open.
I don't think they had anybody open there. The coverage in the secondary was really good out of, I think it looked like a cover 3 shell, but since it was so close, the corners dropped right into that deep third. That was a great job.
I'd like to thank our community sponsors for today's game, including the Studio Shop in Williamston, featuring hundreds of Michigan-themed gifts, located in the Meridian Mall in Lansing. Four receivers in the formation for the J-Dubs. 3:37 to go first quarter, trailing 7-0. Trip set to the left for Foreman in the shotgun. Takes the snap. Quick throw, left side, trying to set up the screen. Big hit out there, incomplete. At the 5-yard line, Jeff Hudson, the receiver, and he held on to that.
That was a completion.
I don't know how he held on to that football.
5. Wow.
I don't know how he held on to that football. That's the most impressive part of that entire sequence, was that Hudson held on to the football through all that. Dropped at the 5-yard line. Loss of 4 on the play.
I mean, I guess it's confidence-inducing in this offense, though, to know that your receivers have that confident, sure hands to catch a ball like that, getting obliterated at the point of contact.
Trying to set up a screen for the receiver, and the Vikings were not buying it. Abdul Foreman, haven't talked about him much just because Sexton hasn't had the ball very much. But he's in his first start with the J-Dubs, trying to replace Joseph Pizzo, who's responsible for 30 touchdowns a year ago. The snap, great blitz, handoff up the middle, and there's no room for anybody. Maybe back to the line of scrimmage for Diamore Andrews. And now there's some yelling going on between the two teams once more. I think Andrews didn't appreciate the way that he was tackled. We're going to spot the ball just outside the 5-yard line. Call it third and a long 13. Line to gain is about the 18-yard line. Four receiver set. Got to be aware of the blitz. Karan Turnley got a really good jump last time. Foreman takes the low snap, steps up. Going to take off with it. Not a ton of room for him. He'll be hit and dropped at the 9-yard line. Probably a good decision, though, by Foreman. Instead of trying to force the ball into a bad situation, at least get your punter a few extra yards so you can try to flip the field.
I mean, yeah, especially with how good that the J-Dubs... Oh, sorry, excuse me. Especially with how good the J-Dubs red zone defense has been performing, it's been a struggle for Everett to move the football inside the 20-yard line. Everett's done really good when they've had a lot of green space, and when the field gets condensed like that, they're starting to struggle, probably because their offense is really built towards the pass. But, it'll be interesting to see what they do with the short field here.
Looks like Tavion Smith is back to punt this away with TJ Benson, the return man for the Vikings. It's going to be a short snap, only a 9-yard snap for the J-Dubs in this punt formation. Josias Carrasco, the long snapper. Last 30 seconds of the first quarter. You're going to send a man in motion. Don't see that in a punt formation very often. The punt is blocked. The punt is blocked. Loose inside the 5, and falling on it are the Vikings. I believe that was Karan Turnley who got in there. He's been putting the pressure on. He gets in there and gets a big play on 4th down. And for the second time today, the Vikings will start deep in J-Dubs territory. They're going to spot this football inside the 5-yard line.
Sorry.
You're good. Are you trying to find a place to get your custom trim meats, special orders, and the best seafood in town? Mertz Specialty Meats in Okemos invites you to come see what they have to offer. They have steaks, chops, burgers, and brats. With hard-to-find selections and unmatched customer service, Mertz is ready to serve you. Open 7 days a week, just east of the Meridian Mall on Grand River. Labor Day's coming up, y'all. Best place to get your grilling meats for Labor Day, Mertz Specialty Meats in Okemos. Longtime sponsor of Lansing Herald and Lansing TV 12. Out of the pistol, Davidson, 1st and goal at the 4. Takes the snap. Give, right side, trying to find the corner there is Javari Funchess getting his first carry of the game, but he loses 5. Really good job by the J-Dubs getting into the backfield to stop these Vikings runners. One of my favorite stats is always how many times did the runner get back to the line of scrimmage or better. 5 of the 9 running attempts for the Vikings, negative yards. J-Dubs front 7 getting into the backfield and making some plays. This year, the MHSAA is celebrating a century of sports. Help celebrate 100 years of the MHSAA by visiting them online to see exclusive content about the people, places, and things that make school sports so special. Rivalries, records, remembering the state's top players. Relive it all, MHSAA.com. And thank you to everyone who's been a part of a century of sports. We're going to take a quick break. End of the first quarter here, 7-0. Everett Vikings in front, knocking on the door. You're watching MHSAA football on Lansing TV 12.
Launch is Lansing's premier destination for birthday parties, fundraisers, corporate events, bachelor and bachelorette parties, college groups, field trips, youth groups, overnight events, sports teams, and so much more. Launch provides endless fun with wall-to-wall trampolines, Fury laser tag, battle pit, an arcade, and more. When you want your party to be the best, invite your guests and let Launch Lansing do the rest. Located in the Meridian Mall, call 517-381-7812 or go to launchtrampolinepark.com/Lansing to book your party today.
I'm Robert Dowding, associate broker and owner of the Robert Dowding Group at Keller Williams Realty. Originally from Eaton Rapids, my family and I now call Mason our home. On your next real estate transaction, put our over 30 years of experience and market knowledge to work for you. Call myself or Danielle French at the Robert Dowding Group today. We are your Mason hometown realtors.
Second quarter set to get underway here in Lansing. Second quarter, Everett leading 7-0 over the Sexton J-Dubs. Second out and goal at the 9-yard line. They forced a fumble that they could not cash in on. They just blocked a punt. I believe that was Karan Turnley on the block. And now the Vikings are in prime position to take advantage. Working in a congested booth up here. We're going to call it like it's radio, just in case you can't see something, but we're going to do the best we can given the circumstances. Two receiver set for Davidson. Takes the snap. Looks over the middle. They got him. Wide open touchdown. Karan Turnley. That was a well-designed play. They faked the pitch out to Funchess on the left side, and everybody jumped wide open over the middle. Karan Turnley for the touchdown.
Well, you know what really sold it there? Karan Turnley came and blocked. He was blocking out at that pseudo tight end wing back, and he was blocking a defensive end. He peeled out after about a second or two. No one would be guarding him because, every read is he's blocking wide open by himself. Easy as that's like backyard football. That's great play design right there.
It's also just intelligent football. Loyola on to attempt another extra point. He's 1 for 1 so far tonight. Snap good, spot down, kick is up, puts it in. 14-0 Everett Vikings. On the road and in a hurry, but don't want the hassle or guilt of fast food. Instead of the drive-thru, get good food fast at Fabiano's Grocery and Deli at the corner of Wacusta and Grand River Roads. Stop in for their pizza slices that are made with fresh dough and sauce every single day. It's a great place to stop in even for breakfast. They have an amazing breakfast pizza with cheese, eggs, and bacon. For a couple of dollars in a couple of minutes, get yourself the handmade meal you deserve. Fabiano's Grocery and Deli, Grand River and Wacusta in Grand Ledge.
The score is actually 13-0. J.W. Sexton blocked the kick. They got a hand on it, punched it barely outside the left post. That was a no-good kick.
So the kick is no good. 13-0 Everett. My mistake. It's first day for everyone. But what a start for the Vikings. 2 defensive stops, 2 touchdowns. Couldn't have asked for better.
I mean, one of the most impressive things about this offense has been the offensive line. They have been doing a spectacular job at keeping pressure away from Davidson here and making huge run channels for Logic Loyola. Oh, sorry.
Loyola with the ball on the tee, getting ready to kick left to right across your screen here in the second quarter. 11:55 to go in the second. 13-0 Everett in front. Referee having a conversation with one of Sexton's kick returners. Looks like something equipment related. Tavion Smith. Some kind of issue with his equipment.
I think he had bracelets on, and the referee said that you're not allowed to have that.
Well, now we're ready to go. We got a ball on the tee, the run-up, and the kick. over the head of Josiah Stewart, who has to return to his 7 to field it, running all the way across, got some space over the 15, cuts it back at the 20, makes some room himself over the 30, down the sideline to the 40. Great tackle by Loyola, but there is a flag down on the near side of the field. Usually that means this is coming back.
Yeah, if I had to guess, it was holding. You could hear all of the Everett, not all, but a giant chunk of Everett parents and students going, oh, like seeing a bunch of holding calls on the side closest to us, the side farthest away from the play. Definitely probably going to be a holding call here.
Or he's having a conversation, looks like about where to spot the ball, and J-Dub's offense already starting to march backward. The flag has been dropped at the 28-yard line. Usually it's 10 yards from the spot. The ball is still spotted up at the 45 where the kick was returned. No signal up here. The flag is still on the floor, but no signal up here to the booth.
I think the refs were trying to get the chains ready so they could count it off. In case of a miscount, they have to have the chains set before they can count off the penalty.
And now they've picked it up. No flag. Everett coaches on the sideline just got their hands in the air.
Whoa. Jaleel Canty's trying to get a word in with the official that threw the flag originally, but as a good official would, they're trying to control the game here by, limiting responses and having good communications with the coach, which is what he's doing. He's talking about what the play happened.
So 1st and 10 at the 45 for the J-Dubs, their best starting field position of the day. 11:42 to go. They trail by 13. Up under center. Handoff, right side. Andrews tries to find the corner up to the 48-yard line, gain of 3. Bring up second down at about 7. We talk about Diamore Andrews and Jalen Stone, 2 linebackers for Sexton, both captains. We talk about Andrews specifically more in his role as a linebacker, one of the leading tacklers in the area last season. But he's also an important part of the Sexton offense. They're trying to find a second dimension in the absence of Joseph Pizzo, who is off to Siena Heights. Now they got Dequarius Jones out there. Up under center, handoff, left side, gain of a couple. But he is stonewalled and thrown down, and that'll bring up 3rd down.
There was definitely some miscommunication there on the J-Dub side of the ball. Half the offensive line and, offensive personnel, because the wingback too, looked like they didn't hear the snap call. That threw them off super heavily. If you watch that back, if you're watching live, the wingback doesn't really move when the ball snapped. He stands there until he gets patted on the back by the running back, and then he runs into a defender, but still, looks like they didn't hear the snap.
No gain on the play for Brown. 3rd down and 8. Ball on the 47-yard line. Snap. Rolling out to his right. There's no room, not anywhere for Josiah Stewart to go. They brought in Josiah Stewart to try to change up the look.
Davidson, offense and defense, making huge plays. Wow, what a great tackle from him from his defensive back position.
Whatever the Dubs are doing, it is not working. They're about to punt this football away for the 2nd drive in a row. They tried to bring on Josiah Stewart, line him up under center. Try to spread the field with his legs. The Vikings were not fooled. Sexton's only completed one pass so far today, and it was for -3 yards. Jeff Hudson paid for those -3 yards. So ball on the 41. It'll bring up 4th and 14. Under 9 to go second quarter. Smith back to punt. The snap to Smith, and he's going to run to his left. I don't know if this was a designed fake, but it's not going to work. He's going to be wrapped up at the 44-yard line, only a gain of 3.
That was not a design fake. You could see that he took his first step forward to try to punt it off, and then he saw 3 Viking defenders in his face. Surely would have blocked the ball if he tried to kick it. He did the correct thing to pull it, tuck that ball, and try to run and get yards. And technically, he got them better field position on the to defend, but he was very, very far back there and did a great job to get any positive yardage with 3 Vikings in his face.
Yeah, that's what they tell you to do. If that punt's going to be blocked, it's better to tuck it. It's better to fall down and just eat it rather than potentially putting a loose ball on the ground that a defender can pick up and take all the way home. But J-Dub's really struggling and just getting punts off at this point. They're down 13-0 to the Vikings. The Vikings have the ball in positive territory for the 3rd straight drive at the 44-yard line. 4 receiver set, Davidson in the shotgun. And he got everyone to jump again. That's the second time they have gotten the J-Dubs. J-Dubs are trying to go on the snap, or on the snap count, rather than watching the ball. They're trying to go on the snap count. And Davidson's gotten them twice with the hard count.
That's a great job there from, I believe, I couldn't tell if that was Jaden Lack or Emmett Leedy, the center. That's Emmett Leedy there. He got touched and purposely flung his body backwards so that the refs would see that's offsides instead of a false start. That's a great job there.
4 receiver set. Davidson in the gun once more. Got Loyola to his left, takes the snap, fakes the give, keeps it himself. Running outside, now he throws it out there. Loyola caught it at the 41, but there's nothing there. Loss of a yard on the play. The fake was to Funches, who was the back in the formation. So well covered there by the J-Dubs, and that's essentially a triple option, right? You have the read option in the backfield you have to keep an eye on, but then as he's rolling left, you need to stay home if you're in coverage on the receiver. If you don't, he's just going to dump the ball over the top. It's going to be open. He's going to go down the field with no one in coverage. But they stayed home, and they made the tackle.
Yeah, that's a great job there by Kyrie Smith, and he defeated a block to get there. There was a slot receiver. Well, it's not a crack block since he's not a linebacker, but he came across from the blind side of the corner, Kyrie Smith. He beat that block and, got a good 3-yard loss on that reception. That's a heck of a play from Smith.
Yeah, they're going to spot that all the way back at the 42, which is a bit of a generous spot for the J-Dubs, but they'll take it, trying to get off this field. 2nd down and 7. 3 receiver set for Funches out of the shotgun. 3 down lineman for Sexton. The snap. The give. He's going to throw. Incomplete. Mason Shadwell. They hand it to him on the sweep. He tries to throw it down the field. It's incomplete. Intended for TJ Benson.
Oh, that was a scary pass there from Chadwell. I'm surprised he threw it. Benson was in double coverage there. That was a dangerous, dangerous ball to throw. And it looked like he had a decent amount of green room in front of him. And for the quality athlete that he is, I'm surprised he didn't take it and get the first down there, because I'm pretty positive he would have been able to get there.
3rd down and 7, ball at the 42-yard line. Probably 4 down territory here for the Vikings, I would imagine, in plus territory. A lot of confidence in their defense right now. 7:22 to go second quarter. 3 down for the J-Dubs. Showing a 4th rusher. The snap. Rolling to his right. Davidson uncorks one deep. Man wide open. Chadwell, touchdown. Just lost him in coverage. 41 yards and a score. Vikings all over it here in the first half. They lead 19-0. Extra point upcoming.
Wow, that's a great job there. You could hear from the assistant coach, the O-line coach for Everett, Billy Hastings. He used to be the O-line coach for Hazlitt. did a great job there, as you can see with their, district championship run last year. Now he's the O-line coach here. You could hear him yelling 60 once he saw the pressure come up. He knew that they were blitzing at least 5, and 60 means for the running back that he's going to stay in the protection scheme and block. He's not going to go out. It's a great job there from the coaches to change the blocking scheme on the dot like that when they see the defensive formation come out.
Well, one of us is in midseason form, Tom. No, good stuff as always from Tom Lewandowski, everybody. 4 receivers set. They're going to go for 2, try to make it 21-0. Potentially informed by Logic Loyola's miss on his second PAT attempt. They're trying to go up by a score of 21-0. Davidson in the shotgun, 4 receiver set. Loyola to his right, trip set to the left. Davidson the snap, pressure comes, throws outside, wants a man, got him. 2-point conversion is good. Karan Turnley, 21-0. Everett telling Sexton to give up the sticks. We'll see what Sexton can do when they get the ball next. 7:13 to go second quarter. Here are 5 good reasons for high school multi-sport participation. Fewer overuse injuries, less opportunity for emotional burnout, exposure to different kids and coaches, exposure to different rules, and learning to compete better. Being a multi-sport participant can help a kid become a more well-rounded person. Multi-sport participation is cross-training for life. Learn more at the MHSAA website. We'll take a quick break and come right back. 21-0 Vikings, MHSAA on Lansing TV 12.
I'm Robert Dowding, associate broker and owner of the Robert Dowding Group at Keller Williams Realty. Originally from Eaton Rapids, my family and I now call Mason our home. On your next real estate transaction, put our over 30 years of experience and market knowledge to work for you. Call myself or Danielle French at the Robert Dowding Group today. We are your Mason hometown realtors.
Ball on the tee for the Everett Vikings, leading 21-0 at home over crosstown rival Sexton. It has not been close. Sexton, they need to figure something out in a hurry. See if they can get something started on the kick return. Stewart up to the 20. Shakes a man over the 25. Breaks the tackle. Still going. Spins away. 30. He's got some room. Down the sideline. 35 and out of bounds at the 37-yard line. That's a good return. It'll set up the J-Dubs a good field position. Couldn't do anything with it last time. They had to bail out of a punt attempt. But total offense for the J-Dubs is pretty close to 0.
You really have to hope that they can figure out their offensive woes and try to turn it around, especially with, how good they were last season. People, I'm still assuming, are not expecting this and hoping for much better at, halftime, or hope that the quarter change did something to change the offense. Because, this Sexton team really does have a lot of explosive players. They just got to figure it out, and I think they will be able to. At least they should be able to.
7 rush attempts, 1 pass for the J-Dubs so far, and I think that's a big issue. They really need to find that second dimension to the offense, make Everett respect them going down the field. Foreman in the shotgun. 4 receivers, all of them on the right side of the formation. We got a whistle. Timeout called by the J-Dubs. The heat of the summer is still here, and Cannonball Pools knows that there's nothing better than a hot day in a cool pool. Get your late season supplies replenished at their in-store location in Okemos on Grand River. If you're thinking about closing down your pool, it's not too late to get the right help from the experts. Affordable, helpful, and friendly. Call Cannonball Pools 517-256-4374 to work with the people who can help you get what you need. Learn more about their full support services by stopping in at their store or find them on Facebook by searching for Cannonball Pools. The broadcast of today's game is a copyrighted presentation of the Michigan High School Athletic Association and the Lansing Herald Media Group. No reproduction, retransmission, or other distribution of the descriptions or accounts of this game may take place without the express written consent of the MHSAA and the Lansing Herald Media Group. But the good news for you at home is that this game will always be archived and free. LansingTV12.com. What we do for free with the help of our generous sponsors, including Cannonball Pools, Fabiano's Grocery and Deli, Mertz Specialty Meats. They're the ones who make this kind of broadcast possible and help bring you the sports you love in the community where you live. 7:04 to go, second quarter, and long conversation happening. This is a very long timeout.
I mean, you're right, Glenn. It could have been a TV timeout, especially with Sexton wearing, red hats and stuff. If you go to a college football game or NFL game, you see a guy with the red hat come out on the field, that means there's a TV timeout going on. And, it seems like that's exactly what happened. The length there seemed like it was about 3 minutes to get those commercial breaks out if you're watching an NCAA or NFL game.
So ball on the 40. That's a very generous spot. Referees in this game really want to spot the ball on a 5-yard line, I've noticed. Because on the return there, Stewart ran out of bounds at the 37-yard line.
I mean, that is a thing that people have done studies about. Referees do tend to place it on the 5-yard line markers.
It is true. 5-receiver set for Foreman. Foreman flips it in front of him, and big hit. Down he goes. Tavion Smith back at the 34-yard line. Arumva Diu. They try to run a jet sweep with the slot receiver, and it did not work. The J-Dubs have no ideas right now on offense. Second down and 15 coming up, and man, you come out of the timeout in a 5-receiver set. You think you've got something. You've talked with the offense. Hey, this is what we're going to do. And then you come out, and that happens. That is demoralizing for Sexton's offense. And how about Everett's defense? My goodness, they've given them absolutely nothing today.
I mean, I don't know if something's changed in the Sexton coaching staff. I don't have my book with me that I used for last year's game when we went to Lansing Eastern when Sexton came and played Eastern. If I remember, though, Sexton's offensive was a big passing attack, and they've barely even attempted to try to pass the ball here today. It's a vastly different offensive scheme I've seen here.
Still trying to figure out how to replace Joseph Pizzo. That is technically a completed pass for what it's worth. It's not a running play because the ball was flipped from Foreman to Smith. So it will go in the books as a completed pass, loss of 5, and now another flag is down. It's going to be delay of game. The wheels are coming off this J-Dubs offense right now. They're looking at second down and 20. And for the Everett Vikings, they are making the statement they wanted to make. We're halfway through the second quarter. They lead by 3 scores, and they look dominant.
If you're a Sexton fan, you're just hoping this is first game jitters. But, but I guarantee you by the end of the year, Abdul Foreman's going to really figure it out. He is just a sophomore. This is his second year playing with this. This might be his first year on varsity, too. So there is a learning curve here. And, you can hope by the end of the year he's really going to learn how to play at this the next level.
5-receiver set, heavy blitz, and Foreman's going to get sworn back at the 26-yard line. He had no chance. Everett brought 6, and they timed that perfectly. There is something in the Sexton offensive cadence that is a dead giveaway because Everett's in the backfield almost every snap at this point.
Well, I don't even know what that play was supposed to be. I think it was supposed to be QB draw because 4 of the 5 receivers didn't move. One receiver ran a street go route and was calling for it because he was wide open. He had dusted the corner. But I don't know if that was supposed to be a pass or a rush. There was it didn't look like any offensive scheme I've ever seen. That was just miscommunication on all ends there for the J-Dubs.
Third down from here to up north. 24 yards to the sticks. Vikings bullying the J-Dubs right now. This is not what we expected coming in. We expected a very close game, and we are not getting that right now. The Vikings have been impressive.
Again, I will say that the Vikings did have a couple of assistants come on to this team, and they have really turned around this game. That is a terrific turnaround.
Hold on. The referee just signaled a face mask. Just signaled a face mask out of the blue.
No flag on the field. Maybe first game jitters, too, for the rest. Oh, there's
a flag in the official's hand. That came out really late. That came out extraordinarily late.
And now he's explaining to the Everett players what he thought he saw.
So now it's 3rd and 9. 3 receiver set. Maybe a better chance here for the J-Dubs. The snap. Under heavy pressure, rolling to his right. Throws, flag down, wide open, deep. It's caught all by himself. Josiah Stewart. That's really what they needed, but there is a flag down. Let's see what the call is.
That flag would be holding and a half by so that was out of 21 personnel, 2 running backs. It was split back formation. The left running back and the left tackle held the left end for Everett so hard.
Karan Turnley got a really good push on that snap, went way up in the air, was trying to maybe knock down a pass.
Yeah, and then right after he came down, he just got wrenched by the offensive lineman and the running back there. And that's one of the easiest calls that you'll see all day.
Oh, it's a personal foul, face mask on the offense. That's how bad the hold was. Face mask on the offense, and that's going to set them back 15 yards. So wipe off the 59-yard touchdown. And we're back to where we were just a moment ago before Everett's face mask. Also worth noting that no automatic first down on defensive face mask in high school either, the way there would be at a different level.
I actually enjoy that.
I agree.
I think
agree.
that shouldn't. You should, if you're 2nd and 30 and you get a defensive face mask, you shouldn't get a first down for that. You should move up 15 yards, but you should not get an auto first down. That seems very unfair to the defensive side.
Yeah, I think that the way that they do it here in high school is, to my mind, preferable. But in any case, 3rd down and 24. Once again, 3:30 clock moving. Ball on the 26, and the J-Dubs back up against it once more. But they finally do uncork something downfield. So maybe they try to actually open things up here. 4 receiver set. Abdul Foreman in the shotgun. Takes the snap. Another great jump from Turnley. Rolls to his left. Under pressure. Hit. Down. Sacked. Back at the 16-yard line.
There's an Everett helmet on the field. One of their offensive linemen lost a helmet.
Loss of 8 on the play. And a flag is down. Oh, my gosh. And this might be another face mask. Personal foul on the offense. So a personal foul on the offense and a face mask on the offense. And no, now the official is pointing the other direction. Again, the official not being mic'd up is not helping us up here because we don't know what he's trying to indicate to us. I think he's trying to indicate that there was a personal foul on Sexton and a face mask on Everett, both on the play. But so they're pacing off the football
in Sexton's favor.
So they're pacing it off from the 25-yard line.
You know what? I think it was probably personal foul and face mask on Sexton on Everett since the Sexton's player helmet came off.
Which would make sense.
I bet that's probably what that's from.
Well, in any case, it's some kind of 15-yard infraction on the Vikings. That's how it's being paced off. So here we go again. Another 3rd and 9. 3 straight no plays because of 15-yard penalties. And now a timeout, I think, is being called by the Vikings. No. Yes, the Vikings. The Vikings will call this timeout.
Yeah, I believe that's Jaleel Canty trying to go speak with the head official, and he's just burning a timeout so he can at least go talk to him.
I don't blame him. We're going to go to TV timeout real quick. 21-0. You're watching MHSAA on Lansing TV 12.
As the voice of Michigan student-athletes, the Student Advisory Council's role
is to convey the message of how high school sports are supposed to be played.
We are responsible for helping the MHSAA maintain a positive and healthy atmosphere
in which interscholastic athletes can thrive.
We believe athletes should be competitive,
sportsmanlike, and excel academically.
We believe students in the stand should have fun,
but not take focus away from the game.
We believe coaches should act as teachers,
helping student-athletes develop while still keeping high school sports in perspective.
We believe that parents should always be positive role models
and be supportive of their child's decisions.
We believe officials commit their own time to high school sports,
and respect should always be shown and given to them.
The most important goal for student athletes is to enjoy high school sports
while keeping a high level of respect for all those involved in the game.
Enjoy the game.
All right, welcome back. We've got this as sorted out as I think we can. 3rd and 9, ball on the 41-yard line. After back-to-back-to-back 15-yard penalties have paced the ball back and forth. That's as much as Sexton's offense has moved the whole game, is just marching off these penalties back and forth.
I mean, that's 3rd and 9 for the 3rd time. This is their 6th down of offense this drive. Well, on this set of 10.
This drive started at their own 40-yard line, and they've gained 1 yard after all of this. 4-receiver set. And we've got a lot of movement. Both guys moving. Karan Turnley's been in the backfield at the snap the whole time, and they're going to get him for offsides that time. Jeff Hudson took off running as well.
That should be false start. It doesn't matter because Karan Turnley didn't touch a soul, and they moved.
They might be calling that unabated to the quarterback. Because if he is unabated to the quarterback, you can blow the whistle. That's a referee's discretion kind of a thing, where if the defender could get a clean hit on the quarterback, they might just blow it dead right there and not give him the opportunity to get back. That might be the call there, but you're right. Jeff Hudson also took off. I would have thought that would have been false start, unless Jeff Hudson moved in response, which they're in different parts of the field. 4-receiver set in any case for the J-Dubs here. 3rd down and 4 now. The snap. Pressure comes. Gonna get hit. Gonna go down. Back at the 36-yard line. Loss of 10 on the play. I think we're going to give the sack to Karan Turnley.
I mean, that was clinical defense there, but the J-Dubs had receivers open downfield. They just don't have enough men blocking. They're blocking 5, and the Vikings are sending 6. It feels like they're sending 6 every play.
4th down and 14, back at the 36-yard line. So it was a loss of 10 on the play, and now they've got the punt formation out there. Last 2 punts, first one was blocked. Second one, they didn't even get off because Smith decided to tuck it and run because of the pressure. So the J-Dubs have not had an answer for the Vikings in any of the 3 phases. And with 3:02 to go, they're going to try to punt this football away. But when I say nothing has gone right for the J-Dubs today, I mean 0 things have gone right for the J-Dubs today. So they're going to try to get this punt away with Tavion Smith. They're going to send Jalen Stone in motion to block on the right side. The snap, they do get the punt away this time. It's up in the air, hits the ground at the 33, and it will roll down to the 26-yard line. So a pretty solid punt, 40 yards for Tavion Smith. So a successful punt for the J-Dubs. And that is at least going to flip the field to a certain extent. 38-yard punt, we'll call it. It'll be 1st down at the 26-yard line for the Everett Vikings. Four receiver set, and that clock didn't move on that punt either. So 3:02 to go, second quarter. And now they're fixing the clock. They're running it because they didn't run it on the punt. Now they're running it down to 2:54. So ball on the 26-yard line. Four receiver set, it looks like, for the Vikings. Funchess, the back next to Davidson. Not sure what happened to Logic Loyola, but it doesn't appear that he's on the field right now. Davidson the snap. J-Dubs rush forward. Davidson throws left side. Got a man. First, not quite a first down, gain of 9 to number 1, Mason Chapman.
I think that's ruled incomplete. I think they're saying that, they're ruling that incomplete.
Yeah. Conversation going on now between the officials. One official has the ball at the 35.
I mean, two officials, both judges that would make that call are saying incomplete.
And now we're having yet another conversation between these officials as they try to determine if that was a catch or not. And now they're going to walk it back incomplete. 2:49 to go, second quarter. They'll put the ball back where it was. 2nd down and 10 at the 26-yard line for the Vikings. 4 drives for the Vikings, 3 touchdowns, 1 turnover on downs. This is the furthest back they've started all game. Same formation, 4 receivers in the gun for Davidson, except he's got Funches to his left this time. J-Dub's showing some blitz and a lot of movement, but no one responded, so there's no flag. You're allowed to enter the neutral zone as long as you get back before the offense responds to you. Everett wanted a flag. They're not going to get it, but they know the blitz is coming now. Snap. They do rush 5. Handoff up the middle, right through the gap, down to the 37-yard line. Spun down Javari Funches. That's going to be a gain of 7. Down to the 33-yard line, excuse me. That'll bring up 3rd down and 3. Nice little gap there for him. Running right through the middle of that blitz, and that's risky business. Usually that results in either 0 or 30. But if you can get through that first wave of blitzers, there's usually a lot of room. And Fun just found some for a nice gain. 4 receiver set once more. 3 down for the J-Dubs. 3 linebackers, 5 defensive backs. Showing blitz again. Davidson moves Funches to his right, making an adjustment based on what the linebackers are doing. Davidson in full control of this offense. Takes the snap, fakes the give, runs to his right, gets tripped up, trying to steep his feet, and he's going to run into his own blocker. Ball's out, but he fell back on it, and that will stay with Everett. I thought he might have been down anyway. Ran into his own blocker. Davidson called his own number after seeing what the linebackers were doing, thought he could get to the outside of the rush, but the rush collapsed the line and got all the way outside. Brought him down back at the 30-yard line. It's going to be a loss of 3 on the play, and now the Vikings, for the first time tonight, will bring on the punt unit. At least we anticipate that they will.
That was a great job burning a bunch of clock, and the clock is still running, and I don't know if they would have started the next play clock yet because the ball just got spotted and the clock ran through, as it should, but
the ball on the 28-yard line, and honestly, I think Sexton might be just happy to let this go. We're under a minute to go.
And Everett has maybe 8 players out on the field right now.
And 57 seconds on the clock. Now it's been stopped. Everett's sideline wants the clock to run, and now the clock is running. And now they want the clock to be stopped.
And now they just called delay of game on Everett.
There was legitimate confusion over, 1, whether the clock should be running, and 2, if Everett had called timeout.
I mean, Everett had 3 players on the field, and you would assume that they had some sort of communique with players coming on and off. I think the ref's saying that there was a timeout called.
Referee now having a lengthy discussion down at the 33-yard line, and a timeout has been assessed. Haven't indicated by who yet. We would assume it would be Everett. So timeout, Everett. Currently 48 seconds on the clock, and no delay of game flag now, I'm assuming that they're going to pick that up. They have not signaled that they're picking it up, but I'm assuming they're going to pick it up given the context of the situation. But referees, all 6 of them now, have entered the conversation down there at the 33-yard line. And not going to lie, man, they've had a rough game. Well, try not to criticize officials, but this has definitely been a first half for sure.
Yeah. To be fair, there is one official not in the pod. This is I'm just going to say first game jitters. First games are always weird. And now here comes the 7th official into the group.
So the ball will be at the 28-yard line. 48 seconds to go. Vikings.
The flag is still down on the field. I will say that. The flag is still on the field.
Flag about 25 yards from the spot of the ball.
And now Jaleel Canty's talking to the head official of when the ref's arm goes up, at what point is the count going to make sure if he called the timeout right before or after the delay of game penalty would be assessed.
Conversation taking place once more between the officials down at the 28-yard line as we try to get all of these details sorted out. As of right now, they've assessed the second timeout to Everett, and if they've assessed the timeout, that usually means they got it off before the delay of game. And now the flag has been picked up. Not waved off necessarily, but it has been at least picked up, and we will assume waved off.
Well, I don't know.
Unless they start pacing the football back, in which case I don't know.
I mean, there's still a 4-ref cabal right now of talking about what's going to happen on the restart here.
Well, they got Logic Loyola back to punt. It will be 4th down and 8 at the 28. Punt formation out there now with Josiah Stewart standing at his own 35-yard line. The snap back to Loyola. Puts his foot into it, end-over-end kick, hits at the 38, bounds into Stewart, picks it up at the 35. Stewart angles to his right, tries to get the corner, beats one man over the 45, lost the football, and is picked up by Everett at the 46-yard line. The strip and the pickup by Arumva Diu forces the fumble, picks up the fumble, and now all of a sudden, the Vikings remain open for business.
If you remember in the first quarter, he's the same guy who forced, and I believe he's the one that recovered it when Everett got the ball inside the red zone. He's having a heck of a job. He's doing a heck of a job on defensive side of the ball, forcing turnovers and recovering them.
And an additional tackle for loss to boot. Dude is balling on the defensive side of the game, and the Vikings now have 32 seconds and a timeout, and the ball on the J-Dubs 45. Timeout for a player injury. We'll be right back. This is MHSAA football on Lansing TV 12. .32 seconds left in this first half, and the J-Dubs would love nothing more than for it to just be halftime. They've been beaten thoroughly in all three phases in this first half, and the Vikings trying to add to this score. Ball on the 45-yard line in plus territory. They have one timeout remaining, already up by 21.
I mean, to be fair, I don't think Everett would be mad either if it was taken to halftime. This first half feels like it has taken 2 hours. This has felt super long.
We started at 5. It's currently 6:15, and that's pretty long for a half of football, but a lot of that extra time has been dealing with logistics, penalties, officials, timeouts. It's been a bit of a mess in this first half at times, but 5 receivers set here for the Vikings with Davidson in the shotgun. J-Dubs showing blitz. Here they come, rushing 5. Davidson steps up, throws left side, got Chadwell right at the sticks, gain of 10, and they're going to keep that clock moving, and I think the Vikings are going to call that last time out.
They marked that a gain of 8.
They're going to spot it back at the 37 then. He caught it up at about the 35. They're going to say that he went back to the 37 under his own power. So gain of 8 for Chadwell. His 4th reception of the game. Been targeted 5 times. Last year, only had 25 catches. Like, he's an incredible athlete, but they also had Lejeune Lubrin in the offense, who's now at Albion. So it was him and Chadwell who were both getting the football quite a bit. Lubrin had 19 catches on his own right. And it was a run-first offense for Everett anyway. But now with another year of development for Najai Davidson and Mason Chadwell, they're ready to throw this football around, and they've been doing it pretty successfully today. 3 passing touchdowns today for Davidson, not to mention the 4 catches for Chadwell.
I mean, you know, these offenses feel like they've switched from last year to this year right now. I swear remembering Sexton was way more pass heavy.
Yeah.
Much more similar to what we're seeing now from the Everett Vikings.
I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to
different.
keep going back to the absence of Joseph Pizzo. Like, he was the engine for the offense last year, and until they figure out how they're going to, redefine this offense now that he has graduated and moved on, until they get that sorted out, there's going to be a learning curve there. And they've got a sophomore, Abdul Foreman, starting today, trying to get his legs under him, but they're not blocking for him very well. He's under constant pressure. He has no time to make decisions or make throws. It's just been it's been a cluster for Sexton today, and we're going to see what Everett can do here in these final 22 seconds. Ball in the 37. They're out of timeouts now. Or at least they should be out of timeouts. They've taken 3. 2 receivers set. Davidson takes the snap. Under pressure, rolls to his right. Has some time. He's created with his legs. He's going to run. Get tripped up and dropped at the 33-yard line. Clock is moving. They're signaling to try to spike this ball, and Davidson probably should have thrown that one away, and they just blew. They're wave.
Oh my gosh! They're stopping.
They've stopped the clock with 5 seconds. They were lined up to spike it. He got the first down. Now they're going to spike it. So he got the first down. So they are supposed to stop the clock, and I don't know if they did.
They definitely didn't. There was 10 seconds that ran to 5 between the clock stopping and going again.
The officials signaled for the clock to keep running, I think, is the key issue. The official down on the near sideline signaled for the clock to continue running, despite the fact that Davidson picked up that first down. And the clock was dead at 5 seconds when they snapped that football, and it stayed at 5 seconds. But that's on the official for waving his arm as opposed to the clock operator. 5 receivers set. You got to imagine that they're going to just try to get all of this here. They've got Mason Chadwell on the far side, TJ Benson on the near side, Jay-Sean Guyton in the slot on the near side as well, Jafari Funchess in the slot over on the left for Davidson.
And, I mean, Sexton's not hiding what they're doing. This is easily cover 4. They have 4 corners at least 10 yards off the line.
Rushing 5. Funchess throws over the middle. It's caught by Funchess, rather, out to the 20-yard line. Stiff arms a man, and he's hit hard at the 16. That's going to take us to halftime. They tried to throw it underneath, create something for Funchess. They knew the blitz was coming. They figured maybe they'd get some blocks downfield. They got something, but not all of it, and we are finally at halftime. It has been a trip in this first half. The Everett Vikings leading 21-0. We're going to send it off to halftime. Glenn, 21-0 Everett in front. You're watching MHSAA football on Lansing TV 12.
You guys being out there wherever you are, wherever you're at. This is first game, right? And a lot of these things that we're going to work through, we'll get better at this as we go. We're just so excited to be able to bring you live sports for free on a Friday night or Thursday night. In this case, I know there's technical issues, right? There's some obstructions and camera angles that are off, but don't worry about that. We're excited to be here, and this was a long time coming. But I do not want to be disrespectful to the band that is in front of us, so we are going to go ahead and throw an open mic out there and let you guys listen in to the Everett Marching Band.
Good evening, everyone. The Everett Marching Band
Ladies and gentlemen, the Everett Marching Band. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you just watched the performance of the Everett Marching Band. Congratulations to all those band members and staff and administration leaders who worked so tirelessly over the summer to bring us that performance. We support and appreciate the band wherever they are, here or there, or your team or not. I hope you guys enjoyed the performance. All right, folks, we are getting ready for our second half coming up here in just a couple of moments. We'll send you out to TV break and then bring you back to Colton and Tom. Second half soon.
I'm Robert Dowding, associate broker and owner of the Robert Dowding Group at Keller Williams Realty. Originally from Eaton Rapids, my family and I now call Mason our home. On your next real estate transaction, put our over 30 years of experience and market knowledge to work for you. Call myself or Danielle French at the Robert Dowding Group today. We are your Mason hometown realtors.
As the voice of Michigan student athletes, the Student Advisory Council's role
is to convey the message of how high school sports are supposed to be played.
We are responsible for helping the MHSAA maintain a positive and healthy atmosphere
in which interscholastic athletes can thrive.
We believe athletes should be competitive,
sportsmanlike, and excel academically.
We believe students in the stand should have fun,
but not take focus away from the game.
We believe coaches should act as teachers,
helping student athletes develop while still keeping high school sports in perspective.
We believe that parents should always be positive role models
and be supportive of their child's decisions.
We believe officials commit their own time to high school sports.
And respect should always be shown and given to them.
The most important goal for student athletes is to enjoy high school sports
while keeping a high level of respect for all those involved in the game.
Enjoy the game.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Everett High School. The Vikings dominant in that first half, 21-0 over the Sexton J-Dubs. Welcome you into our broadcast booth. I'm Colton Wesley, Tom Lewandowski, Glenn Dudasek on the ones and twos. It was all Everett in that first half. Let's go over some numbers real quick. 139 passing yards for Najai Davidson, 8 of 9 passing, 3 touchdowns, 1 apiece to Karan Turnley, Eugene Allen, and Mason Chadwell. On the ground, not as positive. Only 4 rushing yards for the team, led by Logic Loyola's 7 yards on 6 carries. For the J-Dubs, before penalties, negative 23 yards of offense. Tom, it's been rough. Minus 18 passing yards. They completed only 2 passes, and they both went backwards. It's been a rough day for the Sexton offense. Where do you start? Like, the only real successful play I think they ran that first half, other than a 5-yard scramble by Abdul Foreman, was literally getting a punt away.
Yeah, there's so much just off with the Sexton offense, especially compared to last year when they were averaging 30 points a game. This is just a different swing of the team for this. Yeah, this is either a insane Everett team and will probably be the best team out of the Lansing school districts this year, or I don't know, something's off. Just seems off with Sexton right now. And I really think the biggest problem there is the blocking scheme. It's just not working, and they're sending 6 every time, and it's hitting home every time.
Well, before the season, John L. Davis said that his team had a young offensive line and a new quarterback, and that those were going to be those are the guys that they needed to get up to speed. And so far, I mean, they haven't been. It's rough, right? It's a first game. You have a sophomore quarterback. There's a learning curve here. But if you're Sexton, coming off the best season you've had in years, seeing a game like this has got to be pretty disheartening. But you imagine that, this is a building process, right? It's hard to reload in high school football, especially when you lose a guy like Joseph Pizzo. I'm just going to keep coming back to that. He had command of the offense, running, passing. It's hard to make up for that first day new quarterback. On the Everett side of things, they just look like last year, but better. They look like a year seasoned, right? Like Najai Davidson's been really solid, 8 of 9 passing. Mason Chadwell's been really active, 5 catches, 82 yards, and a touchdown, 6 targets for him. Karan Turnley has been absolutely unreal on the defensive side of the football, been charging in and making plays, got that blocked punt, got a sack, and then obviously Arumva Diu, by our reckoning, a pair of fumbles forced and a pair of fumbles recovered to go with a tackle for loss. Everett firing on all cylinders. They just look great right now.
Yeah, they really do, and I really think the biggest improvement that we've seen isn't said in the stats because there aren't really stats that are kept for it. The offensive line for Everett has been dominant. In the past game, they have barely let up any pressure, and the only play they did let up pressure was a Hail Mary situation where he's just sitting back there and he didn't get pressured till 5 seconds in, which is 2 seconds longer than what you need your O-line to do.
No sacks allowed by the Everett offensive line. I think that's the closest thing you're going to get to a pass blocking stat in high school.
I think that is the largest improvement that they've seen, and if they can keep giving just the amount of time and space that they're giving with the receivers and athletes that Everett have, they might be a force to reckon with in the CAACY.
We are the early game tonight, 5 o'clock kickoff, the only 5 o'clock kickoff in the area. There's a 6 o'clock kick between Wayne, Memorial, and Eastern. We'll get you a score for that as soon as we can. Ball is on the tee for Logic Loyola, kicking left to right for the Everett Vikings. They lead by 21. Sexton will get the ball first in this second half as they try to figure it out. Try to get something going on offense. The run-up, the kick, will be fielded by Josiah Stewart. Fumbled a punt return in the first half, but he's got a lot of speed over the 35-40, down to the 43-yard line, brought down by the kicker, Loyola, and that will give the J-Dubs their first possession of the second half at their own 43-yard line. Best field position they've had today was their own 47 and their own 45. Both of those drives ended in attempted punts. We'll see what they can do here offensively, maybe try to establish a ground game. They haven't really been able to get anything going. But you know that there's talent on this Sexton offense. We saw it last year. Josiah Stewart obviously returning. Diamore Andrews returning. 19 passing touchdowns a year ago. So they've got the receiving talent. They just need to give the quarterback time. They haven't really attempted very many passes. Like I said, only 2 attempted passes in that first half. Kyrie Smith and Jeff Hudson, the outside receivers. Jalen Stone, the H-back. In a pistol formation. Abdul Foreman. Got Andrews behind him, takes the snap, give to Andrews up the middle, going to get met in the hole, no gain.
That's clinical from the Vikings defense. There's nothing that Sexton can do, it seems like. It seems like no matter what type of play they run, even though there's only been 2 pass attempts, I think that there's a reason why there's only been 2. They know that no matter what they're going to do, Everett is going to have instant pressure, and there's no point in even attempting that.
To the 47-yard line, Kyrie Smith on the reception, and that's the kind of thing you can do to get your young quarterback comfortable. Hit him with little screen passes, try to get something open out in the flat, let these athletic receivers do something in open space because that's what they're good at.
I mean, that's what you need to do in a situation like this where your run game has not worked. You need to substitute short run game, or to substitute the run game with short passes, because they functionally do the same thing. They force the defense to spread out, so you open up the inside run in deep balls up top.
Can't lie, when I see Kyrie Smith in that white number 7 with the red and black, that looks like a Michael Vick jersey to me. the formation. Set to the right. Foreman, handoff. Oh, he kept it himself. Almost lost it. He's going to get hit and dropped at midfield. I don't know if there was I believe that was an option play where there was a bit of a mishandle on the exchange, and Foreman ended up stuck with the football at his own 49. He's brought down their loss of 4, and I imagine the J-Dubs will leave the offense on the field. This is the furthest they've been upfield this entire game.
J-Dubs are lucky there. If you could see that on the broadcast, the mesh point, right when the running back got through there, the ball popped up like the running back just was trying to run by it and not take it, like he was thinking the QB was pulling on an option play. But then the QB didn't really have it either, so the ball was just kind of floating there, and he had to catch the ball midair to regain possession. That could have been devastating again in nearly an Everett turnover.
3 receiver set. Trip set to the right. Hudson, the receiver furthest out to the right, and Hudson's upset about something, and a timeout's going to be taken by the J-Dubs, their first of the second half. I'd like to thank our community sponsors for today's game, including the Studio Shop in Williamston, featuring hundreds of Michigan gifts, located in the Meridian Mall, just east of Lansing. We'll go to a TV break. 21-0 third quarter. J-Dubs trying to get something going. They're looking at fourth down. This is Lansing TV 12.
I'm Robert Dowding, associate broker and owner of the Robert Dowding Group at Keller Williams Realty. Originally from Eaton Rapids, my family and I now call Mason our home. On your next real estate transaction, put our over 30 years of experience and market knowledge to work for you. Call myself or Danielle French at the Robert Dowding Group today. We are your Mason hometown realtors.
Welcome back. 9:09 to go third quarter. Sexton, when they come out of this timeout, going to be looking at fourth down, and 5 at midfield. Real quick, Tom, you've used a phrase a couple of times. You referred to the mesh point. What does that mean in the context of the offense?
So, in the context of the offense, if you're running a power run offense, actually any type of run offense, any type of run play, the mesh point is where the ball is being handed off at. That is, you think about it like two cogs fitting together. That's basically what has to happen between the quarterback handing the ball off and a running back. And so football players and coaches in the past have dubbed that the mesh point in between it. And if you can't get that right, it is one of the most fundamental things in this game. If you can't get that right, you're going to be in a world of hurt, especially since running the ball is pretty important.
So coming out of the timeout, Sexton having to send a couple of guys off to the sideline and now running all the way back on. They sent a man off, and now they've subbed him all the way back on. Tom trying to count and see if they've got 11 out there. They only have 10, yeah. Coming out of the timeout, they do not have their they got their formation and their package in now with Markel Richardson now in the slot. So here we go. Fourth down. Got to have it if you're Sexton. Bringing Stone across the formation as the tight end, and now the flag comes, and
delay of game.
And another delay of game. They're going to line up. They're going to punt this football.
I will say that I've noticed something on that last defensive set for this punt that I saw. Everett's doing something different to defend the punt. So the reason why Sexton is motioning over Stone is to fix the blocking scheme. They set him up on the strong side, so Everett brings their outside linebacker down on the weak side, away from Stone, down. That's why they're motioning Stone over to block that guy. When on that last set that we just saw, when they motioned Stone over, the middle linebacker came down into the A gap-ish. It was more head up over the guard. I think they're still trying to get that man advantage functionally, even with the extra blocker on that side.
They bring him in motion again. Back to punt. Smith. The snap. Smith blocked. Kick is blocked. It's down on the 43-yard line. It doesn't really matter who picks it up at this point, and it will be covered by the Vikings. And a flag comes out very late. Logic Loyola was talking to the ref, and the flag has come out very late. Everett coaches, again, just incredulous. And now I think that they're trying to make an argument for roughing the punter, because you see the Everett coaches, they're signaling the ball was tipped. And if the ball's tipped, the punter becomes, essentially fair game. You can hit the punter if you're blocking the ball, because the punter and the ball are right there. So I think that's the argument that the Everett coaches are making, is that the punt, because the punt was blocked, it's not roughing the punter to run into the punter in the process of blocking the punt. The purpose of the roughing the punter penalty is to protect the punter from guys crashing into his plant leg more than anything else, or even his swing leg. But if you block the punt, all bets are off. Everett coach is still signaling for the tip, and they picked it up.
Yeah, that's a
and that was the right
good
call.
job there. That's a correct call.
That is the correct call. That flag came out very, very late too.
I do honestly. I like that though. If the ref suspected any type of malpractice on that play, it is the correct call to put the flag on the field and do talk about it. That is what you're supposed to do, so you don't miss a call. That is a good job there from the crew.
So, for the 5th time today, the Everett Vikings will start on the Sexton side of the field, and that is obviously, as much as obviously the Vikings have done very well offensively, it is a lot easier to score points when you keep having these short fields.
I mean, Sexton's done a good job, though, at stopping Everett's offense. I will say Sexton's defense is standing up decently strong for as much as the offense is not going their way.
Back-to-back stops to end the first half for the Sexton defense. They're going to need another one here to stay in this. 3-receiver set for Davidson out of the shotgun. Sexton, they're showing blitz. Handoff, bouncing it outside. That's a great tackle out there. Elite tackle from DeQuarius Jones. Karan Turnley was on the carry. And we talked about this guy before the game, DeQuarius Jones. He is a very big man.
Yeah, he is a large human being. For a second, we thought that he might be playing quarterback.
Because he can throw.
Yeah.
We saw him throwing in warm-ups, and it was like, wait a minute, are they going to use him in sets? But they haven't yet, but he can throw.
They have used him. He's been lining up at wingback. So later in the season, if you're a team playing Sexton, you might have to watch out for a gadget player that is giant, that has a cannon for an arm.
Well, you can't miss him. He's the tallest guy out there. 2-receiver set. Made a nice play on that one. 2nd and 12. Handoff up the middle. Loyola almost broke that tackle, but he's dragged down from behind. That's an excellent tackle there. I believe it was Brown who brought him down. That's a gain of 4 for Loyola, and that'll bring up 3rd down for the Vikings.
That was Chandler there bringing him down from the outside linebacker position. That's a heck of a job from number 13 there. He did a great job. He laid out, barely was able, he started, got him about hip height, and then fell down because he kept running through that tackle. It was a great job to hang on by the ankles and finally get him down. That's a heck of a play.
We got an Everett player down. Looks like a cramp. We're going to stand aside. You're watching MHSAA football on Lansing TV 12. .741 to go here in the third quarter. Ball on the 33-yard line. 3rd down and 9 coming up for the Everett Vikings. Sexton's defense, they've gotten a couple of stops. Trying to get another one here. Trying to keep themselves in this football game. They really need to get the offense to go, but first they need the ball back. 2 receivers for the Vikings. They've got Chadwell up at the top of your screen. Bringing Chadwell into motion. Matched up with Tavion Smith up there. Davidson taking his time, takes the snap. They only rush 4. Davidson has time, throws, left side, got a man. It is incomplete, and that's great defense out there. I believe that's Jeff Hudson in coverage on Javari Funchess. Funchess got a hand up, got something on that football with the left hand, and as soon as he did, Hudson closed the deal by putting him on the ground. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. Heads up defensive play and a big third down stop.
That's a great play. I will say I like Everett changing up the personnel and formations that they have. That last play was out of 12 personnel. 12 personnel means the first number in that, the 1, means 1 running back. The first number always indicates the number of running backs, and the second number always indicates the number of tight ends out there.
So the player who left the field for Everett during that timeout was Logic Loyola. It looked like he was just cramping. He should be fine based on what we could tell from up here. But that also means that their normal punter, is not out there. So I think this is Javari Funchess lining up to punt this football from the 43-yard line. The snap, Funchess puts his foot into it. Didn't hit it very strong. It'll hit the 17, loose on the ground, and covered by Sexton. But it's a good punt, though, by Funchess for a couple of reasons. 1, inside the 20, right? And 2, he put it high in the air, forced him to make a catch. They're going to spot this ball at the 20. That's not bad for a guy who doesn't usually punt the football. And that's actually, it's Davidson, 3, not Funchess, 2, who punted that football. So good job there by Davidson, having to sub in as the backup punter, doing a good job.
Well, in the most impressive thing is that looked like a much better punt than what Loyola can do.
I know you can do it, bro.
It's very hard. Oh, but that looked like a much better punt. It had a much better rotation and angle, launch angle. It looked prettier, even though it didn't go as far.
We got another guy cramping down there for Sexton. Sexton will take over at their own 20-yard line when play resumes. But looks like there's a Viking down as well being tended to. So we got a couple players being tended to. One of them is just getting stretched out for Sexton.
And I mean, Everett's player looks like he's just sitting on the ground.
Yeah, it looks like
chilling.
he's just sitting at this point. Yeah, so maybe not even an injury stoppage for him, or just I'm just going to sit here because I can. So we're in an injury timeout. Technically, that's why the game is stopped. 7:22 to go here in the third quarter.
I will say the second half has cleaned up a lot better for both teams and referees.
Yeah, and that's the thing with logistics. You know, game 1 of the season, you haven't done this in a while. There's gonna be some challenges going in every single week 1 sees stuff like this at all levels, right? You see it in the preseason, right? We saw it in the preseason watching. Especially, I don't know if you saw during the Lions preseason, there was they were working on the digital chains, the digital ball marking and first down assessment system.
Yeah,
and I'm not gonna lie to you, man, that was not impressive.
No, it wasn't. But I mean, the NFL implemented a bunch of rules and stuff that they wanted to at least try out for the preseason, and so the refs really had to update the game because it is a totally different game there now. With them trying out the digital ball marking and lines, and then the new special teams stuff that they're doing for kickoffs and kick returns. It's a totally different type of game, especially for a referee to call.
So Diamore Andrews, the senior linebacker, is limping off the field a little bit. He's under his own power, but that cramp definitely bothering him. Jayshon Guyton was getting stretched out over here for the Vikings, but he looks good to go. Looks like he was just getting a normal stretch.
And the original Everett player that was sitting on the ground was Najee Davidson. He was the Everett player to go down at the same time as the J-Dubs player.
He is out there currently at safety. Again, just getting stretched out. First game of the season, you expect to see some cramping, especially on a hot day like this. Temperatures approaching 90. Pistol formation, power right, handoff up the middle, bounces off of one guy, does Celion Benning his first carry of the game, but he's not going to get anywhere, loss of a yard. Clock moving, coming up on 7 minutes to go in the third. 21-0, Vikings still in front. 3 touchdown passes from Najee Davidson. Sexton trying to get something going on offense. Excuse me, that's Damian T. Brown on the carry. My mistake. Cillian Benning is number 8 for Everett. Brown on the carry for the J-Dubs. Clock continues to move. Shadows looming now as the evening marches on. Got a full slate of MHSAA football tonight. Most of it starting at 7 o'clock. First game goes to the city schools. We got a whistle, a bunch of guys jumping across the line. I think Sexton got Everett with a taste of their own medicine, got him on a hard count. No, they did not. It's a false start. Never mind. They're going to call that on the J-Dubs. Looked like they got him on the hard count, but someone must have flinched on the hard count and drawn all those Vikings defenders offside. Because, again, you can be in the neutral zone until the snap as a defender, as long as you get back before the snap and the offense doesn't respond to your forward motion.
No, Everett got lucky there. So many of their players jumped. Even if one Sexton player did false start, that would not cause 5 players to go off sides. That was just a little unlucky
count
for Sexton.
That was hard count, and someone moved on the hard count for Sexton.
Yeah.
Is almost certainly what happened down there. 2 receivers set. The snap. Foreman under pressure, rolling around under heavy pressure, going to get hit, going to go down back at the 12-yard line, just under duress. Nothing you can do about that. Loss of 6 on the play.
Honestly, that was one of the better plays that we've seen from J.W. Sexton so far. They had Foreman had a couple of seconds there with, not
they're
under
trying
super pressure.
They're trying to set something up downfield, right? You're behind the sticks. It's 2nd and 11. You're trying to go down the field, trying to throw the ball, but you've been overwhelmed on the offensive line. This young O-line is still a work in progress for the J-Dubs, and you can tell.
Well, yeah, and the real reason you can tell is they had to block 7 guys to block 5 Everett players. So Everett sent 5. J.W. Sexton had to block 7. They only had 3 guys in routes. There's not much you can do there when Everett's players are that, athletic. It's really hard to get open when you have that 6 guys in coverage on 3. The numbers don't add up in your favor there.
3rd and 16. Everett very likely just going to pin their ears back and send the house. The snap. They only send 4. Foreman throws out into the flat. It's in and out of the hands. Incomplete. Intended for Brown. And that's going to bring on the punt unit.
I mean, will it, though? If Sexton wants a chance in this game, they have to go for it. Or it seems like they have to. They don't.
I understand the reasoning, honestly, with 5 minutes to go in the third. The problem, I think, is that you have not gained 16 yards on a play the entire game. The only time you did was on a pass play that was brought back because of an offensive face mask. So,
I don't know. All you need is one play. If you remember Okemos 2 years ago, the only touchdown they scored was a 75-yard jet sweep that they broke against Mason, who went to the state semifinals that year.
Punt formation is out there for Tavion Smith. They've only gotten away 1 punt cleanly. They've had 2 blocked. And now he's going to not get this one away cleanly either. Too much time between the snap and the reception. The pressure came in. Karan Turnley set him down at the 5-yard line. That's going to go in the books as a sack, but loss of 9 on the play. And it's going to be 1st and goal for the Vikings at the 5-yard line.
That's another miscommunication there. The punter wasn't even ready. That ball was snapped without the punter looking. That is very scary. You just got to be glad that he's okay there. That's just a terrible situation there.
2 blocked punts, 2 aborted punts. The J-Dubs special teams been anything but. And the Vikings will start at the 5-yard line. And stunningly, that's not even their best field position of the game, starting field position of the game so far. They scored from 4 yards out back in the first half. 4:27 to go, third quarter. Working on camera stuff because, again, we're in a small press box booth here trying to get the best angles that we can so you can see everything. Ajay Davidson in the shotgun, 2 receivers. Funchess, the H-back up on the right. Now they motion him to the left. Takes the snap. Quarterback power, left side. Someone broke through and got a hand on him. He's able to shed the tackle and get back up to the line of scrimmage. Not sure who that was who broke through.
Damian T. Brown, again, getting into the backfield. He has been a wrecking ball on the defensive side.
So call it a gain of 1 for Davidson. Honestly impressive that he was able to get away from Brown and get that yard. And now we got a man down for the Vikings. And immediately jumping up to his feet is Ajay Davidson, but they're going to have to take him out for at least a play because they did stop the game for him.
These kids did not drink their pickle juice. That is the one thing.
Definitely a cramp. He's jogging off the field, but he's clearly just cramped.
That is the thing that our coaches reaped on about, especially for these first several games, is drink pickle juice, because that has a bunch of. I agree. I didn't do it. I drink a lot of Gatorade instead, but our coaches said drink pickle juice because it's very dense in the electrolytes that you need and to keep you hydrated through. So for 2 days before, our coaches told us to drink as much pickle juice as we could stomach, and it really shows what happens when you do it.
Dude, linemen aren't right, man. That's terrible. Pickle juice in 90 degrees. Ugh.
First off, that was to everybody.
You know it's bad when the producer motions for a microphone so that he can respond. Are you trying to find a place to get your custom trim meats, special orders, and the best seafood in town? Mertz Specialty Meats in Okemos invites you to come see what they have to offer. They have steaks, chops, burgers, and brats. With hard-to-find selections and unmatched customer service, Mertz is ready to serve you. Open 7 days a week just east of the Meridian Mall on Grand River. Visit them. Mertz Specialty Meats. Labor Day's coming up, y'all. And that is called a segue, everybody. 2-receiver set. They got Javari Funchess in the gun. Takes the snap. Funchess, quarterback power, right side, inside the 5, lowers the shoulder, down to the 1. He'll be brought down there and lost his helmet on the play, which I believe means, and correct me if I'm wrong, Tom, that he has to come out for a play.
That might have been technically after the whistle, but I still think they're going to send him out.
David,
if his helmet comes off during the middle of the play, you do have to come out. But if the whistle's blown, he can take it off. So it looks like they are sending. Sorry.
Yes, Davidson's going back in. Again, it was just a cramp. He had to be off for one play because they stopped the game for an injury timeout. So he had to come off for at least one play. Davidson going back out there. Funchess is off the field. His helmet did come off. I couldn't remember if that was a high school rule as well as a professional rule.
I think it's an everybody rule.
Yeah, I think so too.
Just for safety reasons, to make sure that player safety should be the top thing at mind for referees, players, and coaches here. They have medical staff on both sidelines just in case. So some players might think that's stupid because the helmet did come off right after the whistle, but he should, and you can see coaches are holding him back on the sideline because he's not an eligible player for this down. That is or they call the timeout and he is eligible now.
Yep, so Everett calls a timeout. I don't know if they called the timeout specifically to get Funchess out there, but he will be able to enter the fray. 2:52 to go in the third. We're going to move to a break. No, we're not going to move to a break, so I'm just going to do an ad read. This year, the MHSAA is celebrating a century of sports. Hey, it's game one, man. We're working through stuff. We've been a few months. We've been away a few months. Help celebrate 100 years of the MHSAA by visiting us online. See exclusive content about the people, places, and things that make school sports so special. Rivalries, records, remembering some of the state's top players. Relive it all. MHSAA.com. Thank you to everyone who has been a part of a century of sports. On the road and in a hurry, but don't want the hassle or guilt of fast food. Instead of the drive-thru, get good food fast at Fabiano's Grocery and Deli at the corner of Wacusta and Grand River Roads. Stop in for their pizza slices that are made with fresh dough and sauce every single day. It's a great place to stop in, even for breakfast. They have an amazing breakfast pizza with cheese, eggs, and bacon. For a couple dollars in a couple of minutes, get yourself the handmade meal you deserve at Fabiano's Grocery and Deli, Grand River and Wacusta in Grand Ledge. Ball on the 1-yard line, 3rd and goal for the Vikings, which this is absolutely 4-down territory for them.
With the person, so this is a timeout, right? So with the personnel out that you can see in the huddle, it looks like they might be going into that heavy set QB power that they've been trying to start to get going in the second half. I feel like that's why they wanted to call the timeout. Yeah, but they are going into a heavier set again. I can almost bet that this is either going to be QB power or maybe some sort of weird pitch option on the outside, but I bet this is QB power.
Caldwell and Benson, the only receivers. Funchess not out there. They've got Karan Turnley as an H-back. Next to him, Eugene Allen in the gun. Davidson with Loyola next to him. Everyone's set to the right. Looking quarterback power to the right based on this formation. Davidson takes the snap, give up the middle. There's no room for Loyola. He's brought down right at the point of attack, gain of 0. 4th down and goal upcoming.
I thought that was almost a QB counter. I didn't really think he was going to hand off that ball. I thought he was going to pull it and try to snake around the defensive end who crashed in. That would have been an easy touchdown.
So Davidson is subbing out. Javari Funchess checking in, and now, this is the personnel group they had out there when they ran quarterback power last time. I think that there's just going to be no subtlety about this. They're setting up for quarterback power, or they at least want Sexton to have to respect quarterback power.
This is pure 2014 NCAA Wildcat. I love this type of football.
Funchess in the gun. He's got Loyola to his left. Turnley and Allen, the H-backs in front of them and to their left in the formation. Everyone up on the line for the J-Dubs. The snap. Funchess tries to keep it himself. Powers up to the goal line. It's very close. He did not get in. Big stop for Sexton. They needed that desperately with 1:50 to go in the third. And for the Vikings, disappointing that they didn't get in, but I completely get why they would try to. But what a stop for the J-Dubs defense. Ball on the 6-yard line, 1st and goal after the aborted punt. And now, Sexton in a bit of a pickle here. Ball on the 1-foot line. 1:46 to go in the third quarter. Trying to signal the clock operator to adjust the clock up here. When you're up here in the booth, you see all this stuff.
Yeah, you get a bird's eye view from the game, and that's with the visiting and home coaches up in the booth doing their jobs, and then the administration side with the clock operators and the PA announcers and sometimes athletic directors. You really get a full scoop of the game from up here.
And all of us who work on the board, on the clock, on the broadcast, on the stats, we all work together. We're trying to help each other as much as we can. It's a bit of a fraternity, even if it's just a temporary one with people you've never met before. It is like that when you come up here into the booth. We're all trying to make the game day experience as good as possible for everybody here and at home. 1:56 to go. So let's get back to this. The J-Dubs the ball is literally an inch from the goal line. It could not be any closer to the goal line without being in the end zone. And now the J-Dubs, they know this. They are lined up in what's essentially a QB kneel formation with Aquarius Jones, and the ball is snapped. I don't even know what happened. Everett says they have the ball.
They're claiming fumble touchdown.
No signal from the officials. Everett thinks they just scored a touchdown. A heavy power set from Sexton with Aquarius Jones in at quarterback, and touchdown Everett. They just signaled it.
Everett.
A fumble on the snap, recovered by somebody down there.
And he has trouble with the snap. Oh, my gosh.
No idea who came away with it at the bottom of that pile. They tried to snap it to Aquarius Jones. Clearly, we're just going to do a kind of quarterback sneak to just try to get a yard or something to try to get forward. But instead, it's a fumble. The Vikings recover. It's a touchdown.
I think he got pushed before he had security of the ball. And since he was getting shoved over the center, the ball got jarred loose by the center's behind, realistically. That is very akin to a Mark Sanchez butt fumble type thing, but not in the same way. But I'm pretty sure the center's butt forced that fumble.
Extra point upcoming for the Vikings, leading 27-0 with 1:37 to go in the third, and it's gone from bad to worse for Sexton. Davidson will hold for Loyola. Snap good, spot down, kick is up. It is good. I committed the cardinal sin of not watching the officials and waiting for their signal. last time they attempted one, but this time we do what we're supposed to do, and we get the correct call on the extra point. 28-0 Vikings. 1:37 to go, third quarter. We're going to go to break and come right back. You are watching MHSAA football on Lansing TV 12.
I'm Robert Dowding, associate broker and owner of the Robert Dowding Group at Keller Williams Realty. Originally from Eaton Rapids, my family and I now call Mason our home. On your next real estate transaction, put our over 30 years of experience and market knowledge to work for you. Call myself or Danielle French at the Robert Dowding Group today. We are your Mason hometown realtors.
As the voice of Michigan student athletes, the Student Advisory Council's role
is to convey the message of how high school sports are supposed to be played.
We are responsible for helping the MHSAA maintain a positive and healthy atmosphere
in which interscholastic athletes can thrive.
We believe athletes should be competitive,
sportsmanlike, and excel academically.
We believe students in the stand should have fun,
but not take focus away from the game.
We believe coaches should act as teachers,
helping student athletes develop while still keeping high school sports in perspective.
We believe that parents should always be positive role models
and be supportive of their child's decisions.
We believe officials commit their own time to high school sports,
and respect should always be shown and given to them.
The most important.
Welcome back. 1:30 to go, third quarter, and they're going to fake an onside kick, and they're going to recover it. Logic Loyola. They faked a real kickoff. He dribbled it to himself over the 50 and fell on it.
That is the Pat McAfee fake kickoff. So that's a sad thing with the NFL rule change. There's no more fake onside kicks. But that play is one of the purest forms of football. Every coach I've ever seen give an interview says that is one of their most favorite plays, even though it's not on the offense or defense, it's special teams. Every coach loves a good fake onside kick.
From bad to worse to nightmare, the Everett Vikings have had the beating of Sexton this entire night. And you want to know, you want to know when you don't like a rival? When you fake a kickoff and do a surprise onside kick when you're up 28-0 in the third quarter. That's how you know that you do not get along with your rival. Everett making a statement out here. 2 receiver set. Davidson in the gun. Let's see if they can cash in ball on the 47. The handoff. Right side. Funches. Doesn't find much room. Gets across the 45, and that's it. Gain of a couple.
Unlucky there. When he was down about 3 yards downfield, he ran into number 76, one of the old linemen. One of his own offensive linemen, he ran like straight into the side of him because he was looking at a tackler coming at him, and he just bumped into him and had to bounce off, which slowed him down. He probably would have gained about 2 or 3 more yards if, his vision wasn't already being taken up by a Sexton defender.
What a wild sequence of plays we've had here in these last few minutes. We had a turnover on downs at the 1, a fumble recovered by the defense in the end zone for a touchdown, and then a surprise onside kick. My goodness. 2 receiver set, 45 seconds to go in the third quarter. Davidson moves Funches to his left. J-Dub showing rush. The snap, the handoff, Funches right side, and he stopped and ran backwards, turned away there by DeQuarius Jones. Big tackle in the backfield, and that will all but certainly take us to the end of the third quarter.
I know we said it already, but that is such a large human being. Yeah, that is not fair. Yeah, he's so athletic for how big he is.
He's not just a big guy. He's
so
an
crazy.
Athletic guy.
That is a guy that has success at the Division II level. He is that type of build. That is impressive.
Well, that's going to take us to the end of 3. We're going to send it to commercial. We'll be back for the fourth quarter. 28-0 Everett. You're watching MHSAA football.
As the voice of Michigan student athletes, the Student Advisory Council's role
is to convey the message of how high school sports are supposed to be played.
We are responsible for helping the MHSAA maintain a positive and healthy atmosphere
in which interscholastic athletes can thrive.
We believe athletes should be competitive,
sportsmanlike, and excel academically.
We believe students in the stand should have fun,
but not take focus away from the game.
We believe coaches should act as teachers.
Helping student athletes develop while still keeping high school sports in perspective.
We believe that parents should always be positive role models
and be supportive of their child's decisions.
We believe officials commit their own time to high school sports.
And respect should always be shown and given to them.
The most important goal for student athletes is to enjoy high school sports
while keeping a high level of respect for all those involved in the game.
Enjoy the game.
I'm Robert Dowding, associate broker and owner of the
Welcome
Robert
back
Dowding
to
Group
Everett.
at Keller Williams Realty. Originally from Eaton Rapids, my family and I now call Mason our home. On your next real estate transaction, put our over 30 years of experience and market knowledge to work for you. Call myself or Danielle French at the Robert Dowding Group today. We are your Mason Hometown Realtors.
Welcome back to Lansing. 28-0 Everett. Changing sides, moving right to left across your screen now. The ball's at midfield, 3rd and 13.
Fans are getting lively here at the Everett side, though. That is the loudest that we've heard them all game in that third quarter, fourth quarter break.
No reason not to be. They have been thoroughly dominant in this one. An impressive performance in all three phases from the Vikings, coming out and just beating the cleats off of one of your biggest rivals. In the gun, Davidson, and we've got movement on the far side. It's false start. TJ Benson just started running his route. And if you're Jalil Canty, that's the kind of stuff that, when you look at this film this week, talk to your guys, you can be like, hey, we got to clean this up. 5 penalties, accepted penalties today. Third down and 18.
I'm smelling a pass here. If I had to guess.
You think it's likely they'll throw the ball on 3rd and 18?
3rd and 18, I think they might pass the ball.
Maybe. 2 receivers, Everett Davidson takes the snap. Rushing 4, throws over the middle. It's picked off coming the other way. Picked off over midfield, down to the 43-yard line.
That might be their best starting position all day.
It is, in fact, their best starting field position all day.
What a play there.
Tyler Thomas on the interception. So for the first time, Sexton will start in Everett territory at the 42-yard line. Already the best field position they've had on any drive today. 11:46 to go.
You know what I'm smelling? I bet Sexton gets points here. I don't know if it'll be a field goal, but I'm predicting points. I taste it. I taste that they're coming out of points with this drive.
5 receiver set.
The pickle juice.
Abdul Foreman. Oh my gosh.
Glenn said that. I'm just repeating. That's what our producer said.
Oh my gosh. Why'd they put the two of you in the same booth? 5 receiver set. Thrown underneath on a jet sweep pass up over the 40 to 39. A late flag comes in. I think it's going to be face mask on Everett. Stewart picks up 4 on the catch, and there might be some more coming on the end of this.
If we had to guess, we think it's going to be defensive face mask. That was a pretty high tackle.
Face mask on the defense. That is the 3rd accepted face mask on the Vikings. It's going to move the ball all the way up to the 23-yard line after that gain of 5 to Josiah Stewart. And we were talking about this, like that little pass to Kyrie Smith earlier. For the J-Dubs, if you want to get your quarterback comfortable, give him some easy stuff. Give him some bubble screens, give him some kind of sweet jet passes. Simple stuff to get him in rhythm. Takes the snap, stepping up under heavy pressure, going to get whirled to the ground at the 36-yard line. Guess who? Karan Turnley pretty sure that's his third sack of the game.
I mean, you were talking about getting the quarterbacks nice and set. Foreman doesn't have a chance. Sexton blocked 6. Everett sent 3. They have 2 times more players blocking for Foreman than are blitzing, and he still has pressure instantly. There's not much someone can do there.
Yeah, there's absolutely no time in the pocket for Foreman, and you feel bad for him. He's a sophomore, right? And he's going to come in here. There's a lot of expectation. There's a team that did really well last year, and, there's all these people watching, and there's not a whole lot you can do when you just don't have the time.
We will say this again. This is a young team. Everyone knew this was a young team.
Yeah. And they have to reload after, yes, they had a great season last year, but they lost some pieces. They're going to have to figure out who those next guys are going to step up are going to be. 4 receivers set. Foreman takes a snap, rushing 3. Foreman has a little time, throws right side, check down to Andrews. He's going to get back to the original line of scrimmage and no more. Maybe lost a yard on the catch.
Yeah, that's the type of play call that Foreman needed, though. You need to go in those open sets, 4 wide receivers, spread the field so they can't they're not allowed to send as many people if you have a big open set like that. And then just have them run short little routes, especially since there is no run game. To substitute the run, you need to move to short pass. That is like the only thing that you can do if you want a successful offense.
4th and 5, ball on the 38-yard line. The Dubs will definitely be going for it. They've got Josiah Stewart in at quarterback, though. Josiah Stewart, and he just jettisoned the gloves. So Stewart, he's got Andrews next to him. They ran a set with him in the first quarter and tried to run the football with him. They've got trips bunched to the left, and we got lots of movement. Let's see who moved first. This is really important. They're not, it looks like they're about 5.5 yards from the sticks, so this would not be a first down unless something odd happens with the spot. But it looks like they're moving them backwards.
Such a beautiful day out today. So nice. Sorry, I just thought of that. I got a gust of wind.
It is a gorgeous day, and like
the later it's getting, the better it's getting.
Don't get used to this. This is the only game this season where we're gonna end and the sun's still gonna be up.
I mean, you don't need the sun to be up. I love the floodlights. The floodlights are great. I can't wait till the last game of the season when it's. I don't know who it's gonna be, but it could be someone like Mason versus Fowlerville or something, and it's a snow game. That's the best games.
Oh gosh, 4th and 10, ball on the 32. 3 receivers set, and now we got whistles and a timeout called by the J-Dubs. So we're gonna kick this over to commercial real quick. 9:02 to go, 4th quarter, 28-0 Vikings. J-Dubs trying to do something with the best field position they've had all game. This is MHSAA football.
Launch is Lansing's premier destination for birthday parties, fundraisers, corporate events, bachelor and bachelorette parties, college groups, field trips, youth groups, overnight events, sports teams, and so much more. Launch provides endless fun with wall-to-wall trampolines, Fury laser tag, battle pit, an arcade, and more. When you want your party to be the best, invite your guests and let Launch Lansing do the rest. Located in the Meridian Mall, call 517-381-7812 or go to launchtrampolinepark.com/Lansing to book your party today.
We have some scores coming in from around the area since it is past that 7 p.m. kickoff for most teams here. The one score that we do have available is the Hazlitt versus DeWitt game in Hazlitt. DeWitt is up 21-7. They just scored off a 35-yard bubble screen that broke for a touchdown. It's been clinical over in Hazlitt for the DeWitt Panthers.
Yeah, and you're going to see a lot of us over in CAAC Red, a lot of Mason and Williamston on the docket this year. So I'm very excited to see what's going to be a really fun race out there between 3, maybe more teams in the CAAC Red, as that is a much more open division than it has been in recent years. Mason, you got some competition. It's going to be a lot of fun. So here we go. 4 receivers set, 9:02 to go. They will keep the offense on the field despite the penalty. Abdul Foreman. 3 down linemen for the Vikings. They only rush the 3. Foreman steps up in the pocket under heavy pressure, tries to take off with it. He's going to get over the line of scrimmage, no more. Gain of a couple. And that is going to be a turnover on downs.
And you could hear Everett fans begging for a hold on that last play, and
Sexton fans, but yes.
No, Everett fans begging for the hold. They're the defensive team.
Yes, you're right.
Begging for a hold on the left end there. That was, I thought it was actually a pretty good pass block. I thought that was one of the best sets that the Sexton right tackle had all game. He kept his hands nice and inside and got a good drop back. That was one of the better sets that we've seen from them.
Yeah, no, it's been a rough game for this offensive line for sure. By my back of the napkin math, the J-Dubs have had negative 28 yards of total offense before penalties. The Vikings defense has been, dominant isn't a strong enough word. They have not allowed Sexton to get anything. Sexton's best play today went for 5 yards. They've had 2 plays that have gone, 8 yards. They had that pass to Kyrie Smith that went for 8 yards. That's the best play they've had all day. That's unbelievable from the Vikings.
I think the best word to describe that's suffocating.
It is suffocating. It is suffocating. That's a good word for it. 2 receiver set. Handoff, left side, Loyola. Tripped up at the 42-yard line. Good tackle there by Jeff Hudson. So gain of 2. And this is the first time since the second quarter that the Vikings have started the drive in their own territory. This is the third out of their 10 drives. This is the third worst starting field position they have had. Special teams makes a big difference. When you can block 2 punts and force them to abort 2 others, you get great field position.
Yeah, I mean, special teams are so important, and people don't realize that. If you don't have a good special teams unit, it does not matter how good your offense and defense is. You will lose games if you can't do special teams.
What was it, the San Diego Chargers back in?
That's exactly who I was referring
to. 2010?
I think 2009.
Yeah, something like 20 top 5 offense, top 5 defense.
They had the number 1 offense in the NFL and the number 1 defense in the NFL, and they missed the playoffs.
Yep, all because of special teams. 6:35 to go. The timeout's called by Everett. Here are 5 good reasons for high school multi-sport participation. Fewer overuse injuries, less opportunities for emotional burnout, exposure to different kids and coaches, exposure to different roles, and learning to compete better. Being a multi-sport participant can help a kid become a more well-rounded person. Multi-sport participation, cross-training for life. Learn more at the MHSAA website. The heat of the summer is still here, and Cannonball Pools knows there's nothing better than a hot day in a cool pool. Get your late season supplies replenished at their in-store location in Okemos on Grand River. If you're thinking ahead about closing down your pool, it's not too late to get the right help from the experts. Affordable, helpful, and friendly. Call Cannonball Pools, 517-256-4374 to work with the people who can help you get what you need. Learn more about their full support services by stopping in at their store or find them on Facebook by searching for Cannonball Pools. 6:35 to go, fourth quarter. Everett Vikings on their own 40-yard line. Looking at 2nd down and 9. Not much to do here, but run out this clock.
Make some memories. Get some big plays. Make some memories. We got a lot ahead of us.
I will say,
Glenn is an insufferable optimist. Absolutely. Glenn always wants their he's that guy who always argues there's time on the clock. There's time on the clock.
No, as soon as the big man.
2 receiver set for Davidson in the shotgun, takes the snap. Handoff, met in the backfield, spinning away is Turnley. Turnley going the other way, still spinning away from a tackle, finally brought down, loss of 1. That's a lot of work to lose 1 yard, but man, that was impressive.
I mean, there's been a lot of impressive plays of missing backfield tackles for both teams. Honestly, those would probably be the highlights of this game, is how elusive these players have been in the backfield, and to not take these constant 7-yard losses, which would be accrued if the first hitter got to it.
You know, you remember Glenn, Barry Sanders, when he used to run. He would run all over the place, run 30 yards and lose a yard. A lot of that kind of stuff going on. Not exactly looking like Barry Sanders running around out there, but those kinds of plays in the scorebook.
I wasn't a Barry Sanders guy.
I mean, no, shocker. The Chicago Bears fan was not a Barry Sanders guy.
I respected Herman more. Barry Sanders was all right.
5:35 to go in the fourth quarter. Excuse me. 2 receivers set. He's just being difficult. Don't worry about him, Tom. Davidson in the shotgun takes the snap, under pressure, throws over the middle, and that's into a lot of coverage, but still caught by Funchess, who escapes to the 43 for a first down. That pass could be described as ill-advised, but Funchess just climbed the ladder above 3 guys and made the catch and said, "Why not? I'm open."
Triple coverage. That is a gutsy pass. Let's just call it that.
Javari Funchess is going to watch that in film this week. He's going to look at his quarterback and see, I'm always open. Never doubt me. I'm always open.
Oh, Jaleel Canty's going to have a heart attack watching that in the replay booth and film session with his team. He is going to be questioning that decision. But, it worked out in the end. That's all that he can ask for, is that it works out.
4:40 and counting here in the fourth. Loyola, Funchess, and Davidson all in the backfield. Three receiver set. The snap. Give Loyola, met in the backfield, drop, loss of 3. So I will say the run defense for Sexton has been really solid. Dequarius Jones on the tackle there. We haven't really seen Everett break any big plays on the ground, and that's why I think they continue to try to run it. They're trying to solve that problem ahead of the rest of their schedule, but Sexton's run defense has been really solid. The pass defense has been okay, but the run defense has been really solid.
Honestly, I think the pass defense hasn't even been that bad. The players have been in the right positions to make plays. It just hasn't gone their way exactly. But, I think Sexton's defense has been surprisingly impressive. They have not allowed a lot.
It's better than the score would tell you.
Yeah, much
they're
better.
They're also looking at short fields this whole game. So when they've gotten a stop, it's been, with a very compressed field to work with.
With only 40 yards of room to give. That is a very impressive job for Sexton to do as well as they have been on the defensive side.
3.5 minutes left in this fourth quarter. Davidson hands off. Loyola up the middle. That's a nice carry down to the 41-yard line. Gain of about 6 on the play. So let's have a look ahead at the schedule for these two teams, and we'll start with Everett. They've got UD Jesuit at home next week, a playoff team in Division II, which is Everett's division. Then they play Okemos at home, so they get to open at home 3 weeks in a row. So if you can beat Jesuit, you're looking at starting probably 3-0. Then you get to go at Waverly, probably a favored game for them. Then they're at Grand Blanc, a Division I playoff team. After week 4, this schedule gets really hard. Grand Blanc, Grand Ledge, East Lansing, Holt DeWitt.
That
Holt
is rough.
is probably the only one of that stretch that you are favored to win. So for Everett, you knew coming into today that you had to execute. You're looking to be a playoff team again. Handoff, Loyola up the middle, going to get maybe a yard. But yeah, looking at that schedule, Everett's going to be very happy to get the win here because there are not a lot of guaranteed wins on their schedule. 6 playoff teams that they've got to face.
Oh, yeah, sorry. That is a rough schedule. If you know anything about Michigan State's schedule, that sounds very similar, where Michigan State has to play 4 nationally ranked opponents back-to-back, 4 weeks in a row.
But I will say that the playoff system, the new playoff point system that debuted a couple years ago, has been beneficial for teams like Everett that play in tough conferences and schedule to
100%.
They only went 5-4 last year. Under the old system, they wouldn't have gotten in, but they deserved a playoff spot last year, and they got one. This year, 5-4 with that schedule probably gets you in again. They're shooting bigger, right?
Yes.
Everett fans are listening to this going, what are you talking about? We can win all of those games. And to be fair, the way they played today, I'm not going to say they can. 3 receivers set, 1:30 to go. Davidson in the shotgun. And he's going to call timeout, something that he did not like. It's the last timeout for the Vikings. The broadcast of today's game is a copyrighted presentation of the Michigan High School Athletic Association and the Lansing Herald Media Group. No reproduction, retransmission, or other distribution of the descriptions or accounts of this game may take place without the express written consent of the MHSAA and the Lansing Herald Media Group. On the flip side, let's have a look, Tom, at the Sexton schedule going forward. After today, they face Lansing Catholic in their home opener. They're at Olivet, at Charlotte. Then they host Lakewood, at Ionia, host Eaton Rapids, at Portland, and then Eastern. You know the Portland game is circled because of how last year ended. But if they're going to compete with Portland, they're going to have to play a lot better than they did today.
Yeah, I mean, that's 100% guaranteed. But I really want to chalk up because the offense has been much better than what it was in the first half. The second half, they did take a step forward, even if that step wasn't what anyone really expected or wanted from them. They've opened up the passing game. They've tried to spread the ball out more. They've done a lot more stuff. If they can do that, they might take a larger step forward as the season goes on because, again, this team is very young. They have a young offensive line. That will improve over the course of the season. They have a young quarterback. That will improve over the course of the season.
And they've got a lot of games. They're playing Lansing Catholic, Olivet, and Charlotte over the next 3 weeks. Those are all very interesting games against very interesting teams. Wide variety of potential outcomes for Sexton. They can right the ship and be 3-1, or those teams are all good enough to beat Sexton. So we'll see what happens. The snap. Screen left side, looking for Chadwell, incomplete. Trying to set up the wide receiver screen out there. And it'll be 4th down at the 39-yard line. But a great day for the Vikings.
Sexton took over on downs.
That was 4th down.
That was 4th down.
My bad. That was 4th down. Turnover on downs for the Vikings.
This has been a very impressive performance from Lansing Everett, especially after last year with they played this game first last year too. Sexton won that game 23-20. That was a really close game. People thought that it would be another close game, maybe a little edge to Everett's favor because people thought Sexton lost a lot more core players. Everett has really stepped up. If Sexton is a similar quality to they were last year, that means Everett took a large step forward.
And we're going to see just how good Everett is pretty quickly when they take on Jesuit next week. Like, that's a real test.
Yeah, UD Jesuit is a powerhouse. Well, not a powerhouse, but they're perennial playoff contender.
They're a solid program, and if you can get a win there, obviously you're at home, but if you can win that game, then it's, you're probably going to start 4-0 given your schedule.
And then you enter the rough bit.
And then
but the rough bit's still winnable, though, especially if you're 4-0. You're riding off a lot of energy there.
Well, this is an opportunity for Everett to play really well in the first half of the season, iron out any issues, get the wrinkles taken care of, and then the second half of the season go into the meat of their schedule and really be ready to compete with those teams. Ball loose on the ground on the snap, picking it up and running forward, gain of 4.
It's their 3rd largest play, I think. I'm pretty sure that was a bobbled snap, but it just shows how good these athletes are. The snap wasn't perfect, and he still found a way to get a seam and gain 4 yards.
Yeah, Sexton's going to need to figure out this offensive line first and foremost. You're going up against Charlotte and Portland. Like they're not going to let you. They're not going to let you be able to. They're going to beat you with that pass rush. Like they're going to be able to get in with rushing 4 and 5. Get away with subpar offensive line. Snap. They got a new quarterback out there throwing deep left side. It is incomplete. Intended.
Oh, that's such a heartbreaker.
Mario Whitting out there. No, excuse me, it's Mario Harris. My mistake. Mario Harris, the intended target for 4. I don't have a 16 on my roster for Sexton, so I'm going to be honest, I don't know who the quarterback is right now because the number is not on my roster.
Yeah. That's a heartbreaker. That ball was maybe a yard out in front of that. It would have been a 40-yard completion.
Might be a 5th quarter
JV player.
JV player who just isn't on the main varsity roster. 3 receivers set for the J-Dubs. 28 seconds to go. Takes the snap. The lefty throws left side. It is caught. First down, up over midfield, down to the 45-yard line, and bumped out of bounds at the 44-yard line. That's a gain of 13 to Mario Harris.
Lower the shoulders some. Mario Harris laying the boom out on that corner, running through him.
19 seconds to go. J-Dubs do have 2 timeouts remain, or excuse me, J-Dubs have 1 timeout remaining. My mistake. Cameron Windhorn subbing in for the Vikings. King Turnley will exit. 3 receiver set for the J-Dubs. Ball on the 43-yard line. Last gasp. Bringing a man in motion. The snap. Heaves one deep right side. Got a man open over the top. It's incomplete. Aspen Keys ran that out a little bit too close to the sideline. If he had straightened out that route a little bit, he might be in the end zone. 13 seconds to go, 2nd and 10. But yeah, both teams have got their backups in. Alejandro Garza in on the coverage. "13 seconds left. Four receiver set. Vikings showing pressure. Man in motion is Markel Richardson. Now they've got trips to the left. The snap. Pressure comes, rolling to his left, takes off with it over the 40, 35, and out of bounds at about the 29-yard line. That's a gain of 14. Yeah, I don't know who he is. He's not on our roster. But dude's got wheels. Dude's got an arm. They're going to spot him out of bounds at the 30. That'd be a gain of 13. So 6.6 seconds are what's on the clock. So I got to imagine this is shot to the end zone time. Try to get on the board.
I mean, you were talking about Kyrie Smith looking like Michael Vick.
Yeah. Let
that is an athlete in red and black jersey.
Let this man wear number 7.
We're seeing the next reincarnation.
All right, here we go. Final play of this one, most likely for Sexton. Ball on the 30. On the left hash, 3 receiver set. Vikings show a blitz. Quick throw, left side, caught in the flat at the 20, trying to get out of bounds. Shakes a man at the 17, then runs back inside to the field, down at the 16-yard line. 2 seconds, 1 second. Did they get a timeout off? They did not. That's your ball game. Zakai Hurd on the reception. But that's going to do it for us. Everett Vikings, 28-0. Huge statement win over their crosstown rivals, the Sexton J-Dubs. For all of us at Lansing TV 12 and the Lansing Herald Media Group, Tom Lewandowski, Glenn Dudasek on the 1s and 2s. I'm Colton Wesley. Join us again next week. We will have JV and varsity football on Thursday and Friday on Lansing Herald Radio and Lansing TV 12. Once again, your final score, 28-0, Everett over Sexton. You've been watching MHSAA football on Lansing TV 12.